There was only one night game a year. On the 4th of July, the whole sky would brighten up with fireworks, giving us just enough light for a game. We played our best then, because I guess we all felt like the big leaguers under the lights of some great stadium. Benny felt like that all the time. We all knew he was going to go on to bigger and better games, because every time we stopped to watch the sky on those nights, like regular kids, he was there to call us back. You see, for us, baseball was a game. But for Benjamin Franklin Rodriguez, baseball was life.
So you're gonna tell me that you don't have no black cats, no Roman candles, or screaming mimes?
No.
Oh, come on, man. You don't got no lady fingers, buzz buttles, snicker bombs, church burners, finger blasters, gut busters, zippity doodads, or crap flappers?
No, I don't.
You're gonna stand there owning a fireworks stand and tell me you don't have no whistling bungholes, no spleen splitters, whisker biscuits, honky lighters, hoosker do's, hoosker don'ts, cherry bombs, nipsy-daisers, with or without the scooter stick, or one single whistling kitty chaser?
No.
You want to go with the Patriot? Back off! Get in your van and go, okay? Because I'll throw down, get in your little van, and drive out of my face, okay? Before I go America all over your ass!
Okay, I'm gonna rise up, gonna kick a little ass, gonna kick some ass in the USA, gonna climb a mountain, gonna soar a flag, gonna fly on an eagle, I'm gonna kick some butt, I'm gonna drive a big truck, I'm gonna rule this world, I'm gonna kick some ass, I'm gonna rise up, I'm gonna kick a little ass, rock, flag, and eagle!
They refuse to give me their names, but their ranks are 9 lieutenants, 5 captains, 3 majors, and one very fat colonel who called me a cheeky fellow.
You know, this is not the conduct of a gentleman.
If the conduct of your officers is the measure of a gentleman, I'll take that as a compliment. Get my men.
Here's to the Army and Navy and the battles they have won. Here's to America's colors, the colors that never run.
May the wings of liberty never lose a feather.
And now, race fans, for the most famous words in motorsports, the star of Universal Pictures movie, I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry, Kevin James.
I just got 3 things to say. God bless our troops, God bless America, and gentlemen, start your engine!
Happy 4th of July and happy Independence Day to everyone here in the States and everyone who's in Canada and the UK and everywhere else. Sorry. I don't know. I don't have anything else. Yeah. Yeah. But no, happy Independence Day, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the intro. Man, I was laughing my butt off this morning, just gathering all these clips and being like, man, I was getting hyped. Last night I watched The Patriot with Mel Gibson, which is essentially Braveheart, but just for Americans. It's like such a great film. There are some little bits and pieces here and there that I'm just like, you roll your eyes at or are cheesy, but overall really fun. And then you've got like American pastime classics like The Sandlot. Had to put some Always Sunny in Philadelphia in there, stuff like that. So, but yeah, didn't see you guys may not have seen the Joe Dirt clip coming in with, with or without the scooter stick. No,
Whisker do's, whisker don'ts.
Whisker don'ts. You're going to stand there owning a fireworks stand and tell me you ain't got no whistling bungholes. So, but yeah, no, how have you guys been celebrating your 4th of July? And actually, before I get to the panel, chat, let us know in the live stream how you guys have been celebrating your 4th of July. And if you guys are here live tonight, thank you all for being here. I know you guys could be anywhere else, whether that's at a barbecue, at the beach, with your family, drinking a cold, popping back a cold one, whatever it may be. But thank you guys for being here and hanging with us tonight. We greatly appreciate it. But yeah, Josh, how have you been spending your 4th of July? Do you guys have any like traditions or anything?
Yeah, I mean, like growing up when typically we'd go to the lake. Usually on 4th of July, it's a lake day. We're out there, jet skis, boats, whatever. Unfortunately, it's been storming here today, so I decided to have a little decompression time this morning. I went and saw Jurassic World Rebirth. Don't recommend it. Yeah, I know.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. And then met up with the folks, and we had grilled some food and ate and kept it pretty low key. And now I'm home and with the dogs because they don't like the boom booms, as we refer to them here. They get a little stressed. So my little man is down here, like not sure how he's feeling about things right now. He thinks the world is coming. Yeah, he thinks the world's coming to an end. He's just like, oh my God, man, everything's exploding.
I feel like this happens every year around this time. Why?
Why?
Well, yeah, I'm sorry that you guys are having such crappy weather over there, but I think, a good lake day on the 4th of July. We did that here in California. A bunch of Marine Corps buddies and I, we went up to Big Bear one year.
Oh,
we rented one of those like boats around the lake and just, pillaged and plundered and acted like, Jack Sparrow. And we'd hop onto other boats and be like, America, baby, yeah, as we're all drunk. And a lot of people didn't love it, but that was we were having fun. So,
sir, why are you invading our boat? Please get off. The
sir,
kids
please
crying kids crying in the corner.
Yeah, sir, please put clothes on. We've asked you multiple times. This is a lake, is it not? I'm swimming. I'm skinny dipping.
Yeah.
But yeah, how do you two gentlemen on the bottom rung here? How do you guys celebrate 4th of July?
Nothing. Kyle, want to go?
Nothing. We don't do anything.
The family over at the house and grilled out and hung out. Kept it pretty chill.
Yeah, had some awesome dogs. Yeah, it was,
I grilled up some Costco hot dogs, so that was nice.
I love a good glizzy, a good hot dog. But I love the meme of the guy who's cooking for his buddies and he's got hamburgers on the grill and he's like pointing his spatula over and he's like, how do you want yours cooked, buddy? And then the meme is like, knowing full well that I'm gonna cook all of theirs all the same way.
Burnt to a crisp here.
Yep. Exactly.
Yep.
Because I don't know actually how to grill. So no, I do, but and a grilled dog, whew, nothing better than a grilled dog.
Tell me about it. Oh yeah, the nice, big, juicy, fat, thick, meaty Costco hot dog.
Love me a good wiener, a good Lizzie gang. So
yeah.
What's her name saying that one movie? There's nothing better than a hot dog on the 4th of July.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what her name is, but just by you doing the accent, I'm like, yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, Stifler's mom.
Mm-hmm.
And she was in White Lotus.
Was it Jennifer Tilly? No, not Jennifer Tilly.
Jennifer Coolidge. That's it.
Coolidge. That's it.
Calvin Coolidge.
Calvin Coolidge, yeah. R.I.P.D. Gone too soon.
Gone too soon. Well, now that we've heard what we've been doing for the 4th, let's see what you guys are doing. We've got Cajun Corey. America, frick yeah, buddy. Great to see you, and thanks for being here tonight. Why do I have a feeling Max is wearing an American flag designed silkies? Well, I guess,
Well,
a super chat might reveal it. No, I'm kidding.
Max may not have his silkies, but I've got my Speedo. No, I'm kidding.
Oh. The stream gets taken down. Yeah.
And the tearaway pants.
Oh, hell
no. We've got Dominic Mason here. Yeah, a movie of my pirate adventures would be kind of fun. Pirating for that booty. JK's here. Great to see you, JK, as well. That's awesome that your pup is ignoring the fireworks. That's wonderful. So I'm sorry to hear about your pup, though, Jack. My cat, my home lion, my little domesticated panther, he does pretty well with fireworks. He just kind of scoffs at it and goes like, huh, peasants celebrating a mere 250 years of freedom.
Yep. Fuck you. Couldn't care less. Feed me.
Feed me, filthy human. Ezekiel, what's happening, brother? He says hamburgers and hot dogs, Hambies and glizzies with family in Houston, H-Town. Love it, man. That's awesome. Hopefully it's not too humid down there for you. Salty says remote Pacific shoreline, ribeyes, grilled rare, beans and slaw, and a Robert Jordan Conan book. Oh, waiting for dark to blow stuff up. Hell yeah, man. That sounds awesome. That's how you celebrate the 4th of July, baby. That's amazing. I love it. Let's see. Where did I? Jack Frost says Big Trouble in Little China is an underrated gem. I just actually watched that. What was that? A month ago for the first time
in Dallas. Yeah,
Dallas.
And then we watched. What was that? What was that YouTube video? Not Gangnam Style, but David Lopez style. David Lopez style. Yeah.
Yeah, that was Big Trouble was actually super fun. I liked it a ton. I liked it a hell of a lot. So,
it's hard not to.
No. It's just so like Kurt Russell is so charismatic and he owns that role. Because in a lot of his other roles, he's super competent. He's like action hero, movie star, #1, and then he gets into Big Trouble and he's like, I'm just a dude, man. He's just this trucker. Yeah. It's great. But no, classic line. May the wings of liberty never lose a feather. We've got Jamin D in the house. What's up, Jamin? We've also got Kaiser. Sup, nerds? America, baby. Hell yeah, dude. And then Jack Frost says, can't believe y'all white people don't celebrate Juneteenth. Bunch of goes on in a 4th. Damn, y'all racist and shit, yo.
Hey. I watched Ironheart, okay?
Yeah.
This is true. I watched all of it. Oh.
You know what? Let's get that out of the way. We'll spare everyone the us actually doing a full 3-episode review, but Kyle and Josh, I think you guys actually watched it to its conclusion, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ugh. What y'all what was the initial consensus? I didn't follow up with the rest of it, so.
What? It was your idea. What are you talking about?
Because we weren't gonna review it after the first 3 episodes.
Oh, now you say that.
Yeah. Sure. Man, I feel bad for Sacha Baron Cohen. I'll say that.
Yeah.
That was the one good aspect of the show that I thought was like worthwhile.
Agreed. An actual actor. Yeah.
An actual actor. And getting to do a dramatic role, which he's been pigeonholed into comedies, and the rare stuff that he's done that's drama like no one's ever seen. So the fact of him being Mephisto, I was like, this could be, and I would say it's like 25% Mephisto. You don't even fully go there, but the writing was good and his delivery was good.
Talking about Borat?
Yeah.
It goes to
Yeah.
the MCU. Yeah.
Yeah, Drew, what did you send? The meme was him like in Kazakhstan, and he's like, I go to MCU now.
Yeah, Shemesh.
You thought so.
My wife. King in the castle. King in the castle. Yeah, as Mephisto is on his throne in hell, that's what he should do. He should go, King in the castle. And then everyone claps and goes, I remember that. That's a meme.
Well, hey, as I told Josh last night, he's got an expensive divorce he's got to pay for. So,
This is true.
He's had MCU money.
Ezekiel says, Val and I binged Ironheart. I'm so sorry, man. Val wanted to stop after episode 3. Man, she has some good taste then. I mean, really, we wanted to stop after episode 1, but I think 3 is kind of at the point where you're just like, this isn't getting any better. So.
You get the gist.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have moments in the final 3 episodes where you're like, they could have potentially made something entertaining out of this, but yeah, no. Even episode 4 and 5, there's just so much cringe.
Yeah.
Well, episode 6 too, but
yeah. Well, speaking of Ironheart, and as I'm drinking my coffee here, shout out to Gary over at Nerdrotic. So he did a really, really funny Ironheart review on his channel. And man, some of the death threats that he was getting and some of the emails that he was receiving, like people are unhinged, man. Like, and it's all like Jack Frost. You were talking about how there was a video on TikTok. There is a whole ecosystem and an entire sphere of Black people on TikTok that do these type of like rage bait, rage farming, whatever TikTok shorts aimed at like Gary or this sphere, this like fellowship or whatever. It's fascinating. So yeah. Oh well.
That means you made it.
That's how you know you're a YouTuber. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
JK said, I watched a positive review of Ironheart. That poor little guy tried so hard to justify that show. Poor little guy.
That sounds exactly like somebody who would positively review Ironheart.
See, I don't know what's what are worse positive reviews? Positive reviews for that show or positive reviews for this new Captain America #1? I don't know what's worse.
Valerie Cruz's Ironheart was pointless. Yeah. No, that's a good way of like summing it up. It's just pointless. Like there's no reason for it.
Well, yeah, you can tell that they wrapped up season 1 with the intention of having multiple seasons. It's done.
Yeah.
It's not going in.
Yeah. Done, as Drew would say, DUN done. Valerie, I like that icon you got there. The guys and I after
Max, pull it back up. Pull it back up.
Oh no! Oh, don't you do? I know you're gonna give me a check.
No, I'm not gonna give you a check. Do you know what this is?
It's a Valerian, or it's a Pokemon.
It is a Pokemon. Do you know?
But I think it's like Ninetales.
No, it's Espeon.
Oh,
or it looks like Espeon, anyways. But it's multicolored.
Is that a hair product?
Espeon? Yeah.
The guys and I actually, after live stream, we should have done a members stream. Maybe we can do this next time. But the guys and I like took an hour and a half just going through all the OG. How many are there? 150 OG Pokemon?
I think so.
Yeah.
And like just reminiscing like how badass some of those OG characters were. So.
Oh, that's right. We did, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Except that I was like, oh yeah, we got to give some love to my boy Dragonite. And Max is like, and I'm like, look, he looks derpy, but he's strong.
Oh, it's the Pokemon Jerry Curl. I remember that one. That's a good one.
It's always late.
He commits a lot of crimes, though. I thought, like he stirs up a lot.
Did he just steal things from other people? Like that's just his power.
Jerry Curl, use steel. Oh no. All right. Well, because it is Independence Day, it is in fact the 4th of July. What does that mean for us Americans here? Well, I had a few things that I figured I would cover for us to kind of go over the meaning and some of the like underlying themes and kind of the founding instilling what would you want to call it, values that happened 250 years ago to create this amazing nation. So Ian Smith, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Ian Smith. I'm going to share his Twitter here.
Ian or Ian? Is it pronounced Ian?
Ian.
Ian.
No, he's an American, so he pronounces Ian as opposed to, I think in that Seinfeld episode, was he British or no?
I think it's British.
British, yeah.
So that tracks. All right. But Ian Smith, he was one of the gentlemen who, during the lockdowns in 2020, he had a gym out in, I want to say like North Carolina or something. And he kept his gym open, even though they fined him, they sued him, they took him to court, they tried to imprison him. And he just kept saying, like, every time they would give him more paperwork to say, like, your gym has to adhere by this, or you have to do this, he kept fixing his gym to do that. So, like, one of them was like, oh, well, you can't have closed locations where there are like doors that are shut. So he removed the doors from the hinges and just told all of his members at the club, like at the gym, like, sign in on your own, and it's my gym is open 24 hours. And like the dude was just he was a complete rebel during that time, and rightfully so. And so he says some pretty cool stuff about Independence Day that I'm going to read real quick. But he says, happy Independence Day to every real American who understands one thing. Patriots love their country, but they do not blindly love their government. Our founding fathers were not polite, obedient men bowing to corrupt kings and cowardly politicians. They were extremists by every definition of the word. Rebels, insurgents, traitors to tyrants, men who risked everything, comfort, family, fortune, life itself, to break free and hand us a shot at freedom. If they were alive today, they'd be on every watch list. They'd be labeled dangerous. They'd be mocked by cowards too weak to stand for anything. I hope you all celebrate this beautiful country of ours today, but when you do, remember one thing. This country doesn't need more loyal subjects. It needs more men with the backbone to defy what's wrong and defend what's rightfully ours. Freedom is not handed down gently. It is taken, protected, and fought for by men who refuse to kneel. The same blood that dumped tea in harbors and fired shots at tyrants still runs in our veins, if we have the guts to remember it. Enjoy your fireworks, fly your flag, but don't ever forget, independence was never comfortable. Freedom was never free, and this country will not save itself. Be a patriot, be an extremist, be free. Happy 4th of July.
Hell yeah.
Woo. Man, that deserves one of these. Eh?
That or the President Whitmore speech at the very end of it, you know, everyone just starts saluting. It's like, yep, there you go.
100%. Yeah, I'll salute to that. I'll give a 0.7 to that. Salty says, oh, he was in New Jersey. That's where, yeah, was it New Jersey? Yeah, I guess you're right, Salty.
Jersey guy.
Thank you for, a New Jersey.
Now, Max, when he said fly your flag.
Your freak flag.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's like super hella inspiring, especially when you watch The Patriot. Now, The Patriot by Roland Emmerich, which is maybe his only good film other than Independence Day, which is a little tongue in cheek, but like all his other films after that are just like, oh boy, what's going on? But when you watch The Patriot and how they portray the English, you know, and how they like just are like the quintessential evil bad guys, it really does make you think like, man, our ancestors put up with some really awful, terrible crap. And that our ancestors, whenever they got taxed, the tax was like for us, for here in 2025, it was minor. But then for them, they were like 3%. No, and like started a revolution over like 3%. And now 40% of our paychecks are being taken out, plus sales tax, plus state tax, plus property tax, like all these different taxes. And our ancestors were like fed up with 3%, and they were just like, we're gonna kill everyone because of 3%. It's like, man, where did our balls go?
We need to find a way to bring the Sons of Liberty back to life, just so they can see our taxes, and then just let them go apeshit a little bit.
Dude, like, oh, it is so sad to see the state of things. Like every time I look at my paycheck when it comes back to me, and I go, oh, that's what I actually make, but this is what I pocket.
Yep,
that's pathetic.
Yeah, you're getting your federal plus. What do you have in California? What's y'all's state tax there?
13%.
Okay,
yeah. It's the highest in the United States. So
welcome to the Republican Party, my friend. When you see that paycheck,
woo! Yeah.
Come on to Texas, Max. We don't have income tax.
I would love to, my friend. I'd love to come down there to the South. The cool thing about Ian is that he's pretty anti-party. Like he doesn't like Republicans or Democrats. He's pretty like, he has a sticker on his motorcycle that says "Make politicians afraid again." I was like, "Oh my god, this guy's badass."
Yeah.
So he really takes it to him, which I like. I respect the fact that he's not like, "Well, I'm not a party," like, but then he's not an independent either. He's just like, "I hate everyone," which I think is a fair amount of skepticism. But
yeah, I think the bad thing is he probably falls into some type of independent category, more so like, leaning more one way than the other. Like if you broke down my political stances, I probably lean more libertarian than anything. There are also crazy libertarians out there, as there are with every party. And then you've got people's idea of what these parties are. And then our nation's set up in such a way that any independent party is going to be considered frivolous. So
yeah.
Womp
womp. We've got Roman of the Empire saying, "Gentlemen, happy Independence Day." Happy Independence Day to you too, sir. Thanks for being here, and hope you're having a wonderful 4th. Maybe cooking some steaks and enjoying some fireworks down where you're at, brother. Great to see you. Jack says it's a uniparty, and they're working together to steal our money. Agreed. Yeah.
True.
Soul Assassin, what's up, brother? He says, "Happy gents, happy 4th of July." Happy 4th to you, man, and happy Independence Day. Hope you're enjoying your freedom today. The next thing I wanted to showcase was on the YouTubes. This is from a post from, let me see if I can zoom in, meow. The American Military Network. And he goes over the like a brief history of what happened 250 years ago. So he says the greatest nation in human history was born. 1776, Declaration of Independence. On July 4th, 1776, 56 men gathered in Philadelphia to do something that had never done before. They weren't kings. They weren't conquerors. They were farmers, merchants, blacksmiths, and soldiers, which is also why I love that meme of Joe Rogan, where it's like when Andrew Jackson is watching his dipshit, like, like farmers, who else? Like farmers, blacksmiths, just like woodworkers, like completely owning and dismantling the English military. And he's like, oh,
it's true. A bunch of backwoods fucking hilljacks. And you have George Washington, who by all accounts was a dumbass and lost almost every battle he fought in, but yet somehow still won. It's just like, Jesus Christ, how does this happen?
It is unreal, the resolve and the grit that these guys must have had in order to, take this country and say, you can shove it up your ass, England, right. Like that's crazy, bro. So I love that. That's one of my favorite memes ever. I could watch that on repeat, and it makes me laugh every single time. But the founders were the farmers, merchants, blacksmiths, and soldiers, and they had the audacity to declare that freedom is not granted by monarchs, but by God. That day, the Declaration of Independence was adopted, severing all ties with the British Crown. The founders didn't sign a simple piece of parchment. They signed their own death warrants because what they were doing was treason in the eyes of the most powerful empire on earth, but they didn't flinch. They believed freedom was worth dying for. By the time those words were penned, the war was already raging. The American Revolution wasn't born in a courtroom. It was born in the smoke of muskets at Lexington and Concord. The Continental Army, led by George Washington, was already bleeding for liberty, already staring down red-coated regulars and Hessian mercenaries. And yet, with nothing but guts, grit, and faith, they declared independence anyway. What followed was 8 years of brutal war. Washington's troops froze at Valley Forge, held the line at Monmouth, and outmaneuvered the British at Yorktown. They were outgunned, underfed, and constantly on the brink of collapse. But they never quit because they weren't just fighting for land, they were fighting for an idea. And that idea exploded into history like a cannon blast. The United States of America was born, and it would never look back. From there, the U.S. military became a force like no other. We destroyed the Barbary pirates who preyed on our ships, proving that America would defend her own anywhere in the world. We turned the tide in World War I when the old empires crumble and the American doughboys and devil dogs charged across no man's land. Hey, that's us. Devil dogs. That's the Marine Corps. Look at that. In World War II, we didn't just fight. We freed the world. We crushed fascism in Europe, destroyed imperialism in the Pacific, and lit the skies with fire to end the reign of tyrants. But it didn't stop there. We faced down the Soviet Union in the Cold War, pushed back communism in Korea, crushed the Iraq army in Desert Storm, and hunted terrorists to the ends of the earth after 9/11. Every generation of Americans has had its warriors, from the fields of Gettysburg to the beaches of Normandy to the mountains of Afghanistan. They've carried the torch of liberty through fire and blood. That's what the July 4th means. It's not just fireworks and barbecue. It's a tribute to the ones who stood up, fought back, and made damn sure that freedom didn't die in the dirt. It's the reminder that this country wasn't given, it was earned by patriots who refused to kneel. So while others rewrite history, we remember it. And if you want to hear the stories they don't teach in school of forgotten heroes, brutal battles, and savage American grit, subscribe to the American Military Network. I like the plug. We don't just tell history, we bring it back to life, honor the past, inspire the future, and remember, freedom ain't free. Happy Independence Day, and God bless.
That was damn good. That was really good.
That was incredible, right?
Of history, right, going on right now, especially when it comes to American military leaders. And look, when talking about the Civil War specifically, look, say what you will about the Confederate Army, but Robert E. Lee is one of the greatest generals ever in American history, and he should be remembered for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I could go on whole tangents. We're good.
Well, you're a big history guy too, so.
No, I am. But it's, for me, it's like, it feels super personal because down here, we had schools named after Robert E. Lee. We had statues torn down. Like in Tyler, the town that I live in, we had a high school named Robert E. Lee High School, and people freaked out, and we were forced to change its name. And when all this was going down, I was like a loud voice trying to say, "Hey, we need to keep in mind that yes, you can say that bad things were done." But when you look at the reasons of why he fought on his side in the Civil War, and then what he did afterwards, and I think that's what needs to be remembered, is what he did after the war. So even when he couldn't vote, he was fighting for other people to get the right to vote. And then he was fighting for the education of freed slaves, which the North didn't want the slaves to be educated.
And not just that, he was an American, all right?
Yeah.
And can't forget that.
Well, who really is an American, Drew? When we're all on stolen land, who's do we really have any culture? Or
and we're fighting racist wars, according to Chip Zdarsky in the new Captain America run.
Yeah. Well, let's get to a more positive note. We've got Salty Traveling Sea coming in here. with a $5 bill, not any of these Canadian loonies or UK pounds or Italian euros or euros. I think they're using over there.
We happily accept whatever currency you have.
please
Space
give me
bucks.
your money. I will
It all
take
spins the
anything.
same over here. Please, God, we'll take it.
Mama Susan takes like 30% of it, but still, I will take anything.
Even that red money from Total Recall with Arnold Schwarzenegger, we'll take that red Monopoly money.
Yeah, I'll take it all, baby. It's all money. So, but Salty says loyalty to country always, loyalty to government when it deserves it. Mark Twain, happy 4th, gents, and God bless America. Amen. And I mean, I know Mark Twain didn't add this, but I would say, at least for me, you know, this was a portion in the book American Sniper, and Chris Kyle, thank you. Chris Kyle said that for him, his whole moniker was God, family, country, but it later changed to God, country, family, because his country became so important to him that he actually had that more in his mind's eye than he did his own family, which ultimately drew them apart, and there was a lot of issues there. But yeah, I would say the focus for me always is God first, and then the love of our country and where we come from and our history and things like that. But without God, none of this is possible. So I think that's always something I have to remind myself is, as much as I love this country, I always have to remind myself that my love of God comes first. Well, Salty, for your $5, I got a new clip for you, buddy. Here you go, brother.
You called down the thunder, well now you got it. You tell them I'm coming, and hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me!
Yeah, buddy.
Just the making of behind the scenes of that. You want to talk about a crap show making that movie? It was that, and yeah, really? It's just read the behind the scenes, just the production of that film. It was not pleasant.
Oh gosh. Well, I mean, it turned out to be one of the best films of all time. So
yeah.
You got it, buddy. You brought the thunder.
Called down the thunder. Now you got it.
Now you got it. Kurt Russell is just the man. Hit that like button like Ben Franklin plowed French chicks in 18th century Paris. Oh no. I mean, yes, please do hit the like button, but
that means hitting it hard.
That means, and multiple times too, until that like button gets just ran through. So Soul says they seem to admit that history in school nowadays. Admit that in history in school nowadays. Oh, dude, don't even get me started. I mean, look at how many people are homeschooling now. It's wild. Probably for the best though. Roman says, hit that like button like Washington hit the British at Yorktown. Boom, baby. Thank you, Roman. I appreciate it, brother.
Right in the dick.
right in the wiener. Mm-hmm. Take that, Brits. Yeah, they declared freedom and threw their tea into the harbor for nothing more than like 3%. We need that back. We need that type of mindset back. So Caro, good evening to you. Hopefully you're having a wonderful Independence Day as well. She says, Max, I'm here to look at you that isn't at a convention. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Well, I am always here to be easy on the eyes for everyone. So you are more than welcome to look and see as long as you like, Caro. But yes, I appreciate it. She says, I hit the like button. Did you? It's a good question. I don't know. I think I hit it earlier, but mine doesn't count because it's technically my own channel. So I don't know. But great to see you, Caro. Thank you as well. And then we've also got Zach's in the chat. Where'd he go? I'm looking for him right now. He says, Shalom, Salty. Hello, Zach. Hope you're doing well, brother. And hope you are I hope you're enjoying and feeling the freedom from underneath you right now. I hope you're just, getting a boost of freedom from, your better half on the lower side of the continent. But I was gonna say, yeah, this holiday is pretty hype. I don't know how you guys feel, but like Christmas is up there for me. I think that's my favorite holiday. I know a lot of people, it's like Christmas and Halloween, but like for me, it's like Christmas and 4th of July, man. Those two for me, those are like my favorite holidays of all time. But is that, I don't know. Does anyone adhere to that same, trajectory or no?
Mm.
Or maybe like Halloween and 4th of July? Someone said that like
Halloween
Thanksgiving was there.
Halloween and like Veterans Day. I like Veterans Day a lot.
Yeah, you're right. That one's a lot of fun too. Yeah. I don't know. JK says Christmas and Halloween for me. Zach says happy 4th of July, you dorks. And Josh. Oh, well, thank you. We are a bunch
Appreciate
of dorks,
it.
aren't we? Salty says Max is misquoting a Bette Midler song. Am I? Uh-oh. Oh, have y'all seen this? Back it up. Back it up,
We
Terry.
haven't seen
No,
that.
Terry,
Back it up, Terry.
Back
Terry,
it up, back it up, Terry.
There, no.
Back it up,
Terry.
Oh Lord, he's spinning.
Lord, Terry, back it up. Oh my God. Oh, thank you. Who brought that up in the chat? Alan. Thank you, Alan, for bringing this up.
Steve.
Yeah.
Steve.
Alan. I gotta bring that up. So, actually, let's do this. I'll find that clip while we go into our show and tell section. So, let's hop right into show and tell because I think all of us have a little something. So let's get right on into it. By the way, if you guys hear like mariachi music and fireworks coming from my microphone, please let me know and I'll mute when I'm not talking. Because it's California and it's 4th of July and the drill. There are going to be people that are celebrating Mexico that are here in America. It doesn't make sense, but they're most likely here.
Cinco de Mayo in July. Hey.
I think I'm getting fucking mortared over here.
Really? It's that close, eh?
You're crazy.
Oh my God. Well, be safe. Be safe over there. Caro says, I will share a secret with you all. Uh-oh. Oh no. What's the secret? Max gives great hugs. Oh, thank God. Oh, okay. It's not too much of a secret. Anytime I steal one from him, I feel like I can take on the next world conflict. That's amazing. Oh my God. I feel so honored. Thank you. 10 out of 10 would recommend with consent. You know what? The only part of that, I will give you a hug even without consent. I'm sorry, but sometimes it has to happen. A hug must commence. But Caro, that's so sweet of you. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. And it was great seeing you at Dallas Fan Expo. And I will give you a hug the next time I see you, wherever that convention may be. Don't back up, Tara. Tara, what you doing, Tara? Alan says, I don't do much on 4th of July, but I really love the holiday. It's my favorite behind Halloween. Okay. Dolan has an avatar of a Kickstarter I'm backing. Oh.
Hey.
What's that? Drew, do you know what that Kickstarter might be? It couldn't be one that you're writing, right?
It could be one that's ending in 46 hours from now.
Whoa. Okay. So tell us more about this bad boy because Mildo Miller, Dolan is actually the writer and creator of Unholy Nightmare. So you got him right here. So if you have any questions for him, let us know. But yeah, so for show and tell, let's start with Drew here. And yeah, brother, what you got going on in the next 46 hours?
Well, first, thank you, Mildo Miller. I appreciate it. Yeah, if you didn't or were unaware, yeah, I'm the writer, co-creator of Unholy Nightmare, and this is Unholy Nightmare number 2. The Nightmare Continues. This picks right up where issue 1 ends, with the madness that took place in a warehouse in Gary, Indiana, and it just becomes a complete nightmare of biblical proportions as we proceed through the story, through the subsequent issues. But we get introduced to the rest of the team in this issue, and they're all from very different backgrounds, very different powers and such. And there's also a tie-in comic for the Golem, who's a member of the team. It is a 10-page origin story told in the vein of EC Comics, Tales from the Crypt, Vault of Horror, and it's one of the best things I've ever written and co-written with Aaron Sparrow, who's also the editor of Unholy Nightmare number 2.
And who also wrote The Golem, which I'm about to show the cover for. You and Josh were talking about this book the other night, and just, how incredible it is, and that, we're going to try and put it up for awards, and really might be something special here. Not to diminish the creative integrity of Unholy Nightmare itself, but having this as an add-on is really something that we should highlight as well. So
yeah, and one thing I've been trying to tell people, because I gotta remember, there are a lot of people who don't know the spiel, who aren't on Facebook or Instagram. So the Golem, this is illustrated by hand, completely by hand, by Vu Don. He is a Vietnamese artist. He is brand new to comic books. He's coming from video games into comics, and I gave him this 10-page script. And this is the cover of the 10-pager. He did this all by hand, freehand, no light box, no tracing, no image he referenced. He did this all via his mind, and it's all on Facebook. You can see him doing it live. He is immensely talented, and the 10 pages are directly reflect the cover here. All black and white, all pen and ink, crosshatched to hell and back. The guy is a pen genius. Salty asks, what's the pitch in the story of the Golem? So it's the story of the Golem. Imagine if you're reading a Tales from the Crypt, Vault of Horror, or shock suspense story from the 1950s. This is his origin story. It takes place during World War II in the concentration camp, and we see how the Golem came about something very, very, very horrible and very tragic that happens. And I based this story all around an anecdote I heard on the Joe Rogan podcast involving David Lee Roth, of all people. He was telling a story about how his vocal coach was a survivor. He was a survivor during the Holocaust. He was in a concentration camp, and he was a singer. And he said that he had to be perfect every night he performed for the German army, because he knew if he wasn't, he would be dead. He would be killed. So I heard that, and I was like, you know what? But what if he wasn't perfect that one night? What would happen? So I took that and just based a what if around that anecdote. And like, what if there's an individual who performed before the German army and he messed up just once, one time, one small error? What would happen? And we get the birth of the Golem.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. CD Ezekiel says backed it and got Golem. Can't wait. Hell yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I emailed out to everybody thanking everyone for backing it, but I told them, make sure you back the Golem too, because you guys are not going to want to miss out on this.
Nice, dude. We've also got Salty saying thank you. That's a hell of a great story and a great pitch. Yeah, thanks, Drew. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thank you.
And we've also got Sully. What's happening, dude? Happy Independence Day, brother. Hope you're doing great. Yeah, you guys can find the link here or in the description below. Thank you so much for posting that, Salty. One of the best mods in town. We've also got Jay Blue saying happy 4th of July, everyone. Thanks, Jay Blue. Rudy Tag, Tatigue, good evening, everyone. Don't be like Terry. Make sure you back it up. Well, we're about to show that video, but before we do, we've also got Roman saying liberty is traditional and conservative. It remembers its legends and its heroes. But tyranny is always young and seemingly innocent and asks us to forget the past. G.K. Chesterton. Wow. if that's not the most on point, relevant, quote right now, that's perfect. Thanks, Roman. I appreciate you sharing that, man. Oh my gosh. And Rudy says, "What's good, everyone? Happy Mother Truckin' Birthday, America." Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate that. And we've also got the Sultan of Soup himself, Eric O'Sullivan, Mr. Sully, who I got to have dinner with in Dallas. Member for 11 months. Dude, thank you so much. He says, huzzah. Thank you, sir. This is it's a great honor to have you here. Thank you so much, brother. I greatly, greatly appreciate your membership. And it was great seeing you in person, getting to give you a big old hug. It's always an honor. Speaking of men who fought for their freedom against tyranny and evil, here, this one's for you, Sully. And Caro is off to comfort her pups, her little puppers. So you do that because we all know this is a tough time for our fur babies. So please have a wonderful evening. Happy Independence Day. Great to see you, Caro. Love you and hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening. And thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out for a little bit. So now we've been talking about Terry, good old Terry. And everyone's like, what the hell is that? Who is Terry? Why is he backing it up? Why has he got to back it up? Well, can you guys hear this? Oh, hold on. Okay.
Hold the hand, Chico.
Oh my.
Hey, hold on.
Here you go, there.
Bag up, Terry. Put in reverse, Terry. Put in reverse. Oh, Lord, Jesus. Oh, Lord. Oh, Jesus. What you doing, Terry? Terry, what you doing?
Oh my gosh. I cannot, bro. That is so funny. What you doing, Terry? What you doing, Terry? That's too good. So if anyone understands Terry, that's who Terry is. So back up, go ahead, back up, Terry. So great. Don't forget to put it on Don't Tread on Me by Metallica to celebrate the 4th of July. Metallica. If you should be listening to anyone this 4th of July, it's Pantera. Go listen to some Cowboys from Hell. That'll get your rocks right. Celty says the humanity. Terry is reliving the jungles of the... Oh my god. Back it up, Terry. All right. So now that we've got some show and tell, Josh, I think you also have something, yeah, to show.
I do indeed. So I'm continuing. I'm always kind of ADD with my collecting, so I go through phases of I'm going to collect this for a while, and I'm going to collect this for a while, and I'm still coming off my Buffy and Angel collecting from Dallas. So I got a couple of things, but I figured, you know what? I'm going to go balls to the wall and try to get all these library editions that are out there that are freaking expensive and hard to find. So first up, we've got Angel After the Fall, which is essentially Angel Season 6. And
Totes Dorbs.
And followed that up with the next chapter as well, which is The End. Before they started kind of combining the stories into Buffy Season 8. But I also got the library edition for one part of Angel Season 11 and Buffy Season 12. So,
oh my god, dude, those are gorgeous.
Yeah, they're massive. So, ugh.
So what's the difference between a library edition and like an artist edition versus like a essential edition? Like So, because I've never heard of a library edition. Is it just
size?
Okay.
So like this is your standard trade size
Mhm.
versus the library edition.
Okay.
So
well,
standard.
you are a size queen, so that's
Well, apparently.
Dude, those are sick, and those covers present so well.
Yeah, I love
That
it.
looks awesome.
But yeah, really good stuff. And especially when you get into like seasons, I think 9, 10, and 11, you've got Christos Gage that takes over writing duties, and he just writes like banger after banger after banger. So he does seasons 9 and 10 of Angel and Faith, and then season 11 of Buffy. So
wait, Christos Gage, the same guy who's been used and abused by Dan Slott at Marvel to finish his damn work.
Same guy that's been used and abused by Dan Slott. Yep, that guy. So
Sully says, "Is that Boom or Dark Horse?"
So the first 2 Angel books were IDW, and then the Buffy stuff is, I believe, actually it may have been when Boom got the rights. Yeah, so that's Boom. And yeah, these 2 are Boom, but the first 2 Angel ones are IDW.
Nice.
Yeah.
Gavin says, "Love the oversized collection. I have a bunch of Remenders Deluxe editions." That's
Hell
cool. Yeah. Those like premium format, deluxe edition, library, like whatever it may be, where it's a larger form, absolute edition, whatever it may be, larger format, better printing, hardback, like hardcover, with like a dust jacket. Like those are like what you present, you know what I mean? And they're like they're almost like works of art in themselves, but they also tend to have a lot of really great stuff in the back, as opposed to like, or it'll have page layouts or scripts or interviews. It'll have like exclusive stuff for that book specifically, which I think is really cool as well.
And what's great about that with DC now with their library editions is that I remember about 10 years ago or so, their dust jackets, if you remove the dust jacket, it would just be a black interior hardcover, like a black, maybe slightly embossed. It's like, really, that's it? But now when you take off the dust jacket, it's got they have like an awesome like kick-ass image under the dust jacket. So it's like, oh, they stepped up their game now. They're actually trying. How about that?
Nice. Yeah. The only thing that I can think of is when it's just like a plain black cover or something, is for an artist to do maybe a sketch or like or something like that. Kyle, even for your Simon Bisley's The Bible, I think you had Bisley draw in silver pen on that inside of your dust jacket, or not the dust jacket, but like the cover, right?
Yeah, the interior cover. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I'll show something. I'll show something off real quick. That's pretty damn cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Salty says, "Just bought tickets to Rose City Comic Con in Portland in September. Some great creators like Art Adams and the Artist Alley, but my hate for Portland is huge." Totally understandable. So, ooh, that is incredible.
Yeah, drawn on the inside by Rags Morales, the Identity Crisis hardcover.
Wow.
I had him do that. Yeah,
That's unbelievable. What did he do that with? Pen?
No, he did this with a charcoal.
Whoa, that looks like a printed. Like that doesn't even look like.
No, he did this. So good, he did this at the show, and I paid, I forget how much. It's several hundred for this. And he said, "I'll never forget." He's like, "I want you to know how much of a pain in the ass this was doing this on black."
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Can you show it one more time, Drew?
Yeah. By Rags Morales. Yeah, from Identity Crisis. This is on the hardcover. Yeah, so if you ever see Rags Morales at a convention, his Hawkman, in my opinion, is one of the best ever because he gets the eyes right. It's like Joe Kubert and Rags are my 2 favorite Hawkman artists of all time. And he absolutely nails it. Yeah.
Sweet.
Did that all on
charcoal. Showing that off.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was gonna say the Boom books have like a really nice interior when you first open it. Like they've got an image there. So For Angel season 11, like Faith leaves and goes back to Buffy, and then Winifred Burkle / Illyria kind of becomes the co-lead. So you got an image in the front and an image in the back. But if you are one of those people that you want someone to do art, you still have a blank page.
There you go. Yeah.
Smart. Dang, those are gorgeous, man. Good finds, good pickups.
And then like that's the dust jacket, and then that's the actual image of the book. So just fantastic stuff.
When they do, you gotta praise, these creators. When they do it right, and you'll give them their money. But man, that's a good looking book right there. Salty says Bisley will be at Rose City. Ooh, well then in that case, Salty, I've got some Bisley stuff I can send you that I need him to sign for me. So
he's a guy you better get on his commission list quickly, because his list gets filled up fast.
I believe it, man. I think this month for July, Bisley's 1 in 100 Battle Beast cover will be out. That'll be sick too. So
you want to talk about a ratio that's probably going to like double or triple in value? It's going to be that.
Oh yeah. Alan says you're right. MVP Pantera is the most American metal band ever. Amen. And RIP to Dimebag. Got Absolute Justice League from Ollie's for $26. Look at that.
Steal.
Fiend says same Christos Gage that wrote Daredevil season 1.
Yep.
Same Christos Gage. Yeah. And Sully, I saw that you stopped at Buffy season 9. I'm going to be honest, I was not a fan of Buffy season 8. But season 9 was a little rough. Angel and Faith season 9, banger. Angel and Faith season 10, banger. And then that's when Christos Gage moved to Buffy for season 11.
Sorry, I read this as Daredevil Born Again season 1. That's why I was like, but no, you're talking about Netflix Daredevil season 1.
Yes. Christos Gage.
Okay. Man, we've got a ton of Canadians in here tonight. Look at that. We've got the beautiful Vex Electronica saying Happy Independence Day. Thanks, Vex. I appreciate it. And hope you're enjoying some of I hope you're feeling some of our freedom emanating off of us into your neck of the woods. So we appreciate it, Vexy. Thank you. And Eric, I'm watching Buffy on, I think I've been watching it on Hulu. But for a while there, I was watching it on the 7 Seas because I don't want anyone like Disney having my money, but it's easier for Hulu I think they did like $1 a month or something. So I was like, sure, whatever.
Yeah, you know what? It's worth it to watch Rutger Hauer as the villain in it. He's amazing. Paul Rubens, he's hilarious as the vampire. And it's a true gem.
Go away, Drew. No one's talking about the movie. Get out of here.
I love this. Vex says honorary American with a little asterisk. No Canadian resides here. Yes, that's right. I'm sorry. What am I saying? Of course. Speaking of America, I've got a little show and tell. I may have shown this off previously, but I'll show it off again just because it's been a while. And in honor of Independence Day, I'll go ahead and showcase this. So I saw this originally on Cartoonist Kayfabe, and this is the Folio Society Captain America kind of, not like compendium, but it's kind of like a best of. But the cool thing about what Folio Society did is that they didn't just print like the best of issues, because in here they've got some.
Is that Michael Cho on the cover art?
That I'm not sure. But let's see. I don't know if it says here on the interiors, but it does have all the different. Let's see. Can you guys? No, not really. But it just showcases all the different books that are in here, all the way from 1942, and then the more recent one is from 2009, Red, White, and Blue Blood, with an introduction by Roy Thomas. But the really cool thing that they do in here is that they don't update any of the comics, but they photocopy the actual issues. So
damn.
all the pages are either yellowed or like all the inking is, to the exact, color of what it would be from that time period. So this is a really, really beautiful book. Here's Cap and the Avengers. And it's just a cool little blast to the past of some of Captain America's best moments here. But what's really interesting, and that they added into this Folio Society book, is the perfect facsimile print of Captain America Comics issue number 1.
No flipping way.
Yeah, with Cap punching Hitler.
Do not tell me it's newsprint interior. Do not tell me it's newsprint on the interior. If it is, I'm gonna be pissed.
It is. So
oh my god. Oh. Damn.
So it is a beautiful, beautiful book. And what I didn't actually realize is how, I mean, this is like a trade paperback almost. It's a lot of story in here. But one of the cool things is that it's actually the first appearance from my understanding is the first appearance of Red Skull.
Yeah.
Which is funny too, because his original uniform just had a straight up Nazi symbol on his jumpsuit. I don't think he has that anymore. But
no.
Yeah. No.
No, even as far back as the 90s, they refused. They took out the swastikas. Like they refused to acknowledge that the Nazi Party ever happened.
Yeah, which is odd because they sure do love talking about Nazis at Marvel over there. So
yeah.
What else I've found kind of cool is that in the interior of this, they were promoting some of the kids who are probably reading this to send in their 10 cents to cover the cost of shipping or whatever. And they would send whoever it was who sent in the mail a member of the Sentinels of Liberty card. And it says, I solemnly pledge to uphold the principles of the Sentinels of Liberty and assist Captain America in his war against spies in the USA. So pretty cool. It got, these kids to kind of engage with the character, but also engage with the comic and send in their little Sentinel of Liberty card here. So what is it? A real official badge and membership card. So, but yeah, this is a beautiful, beautiful book, and Folio Society does it better than anyone. But hey,
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, yeah, because I know Captain America isn't the only one they've done. I know they've done them for Fantastic Four. They did it for X-Men. They did it for the Avengers. Because I always see them advertised.
Ton of Spidey stuff.
Yep, and Spidey. Yeah, they seem to be well worth the money. And after you showing that off, I'm like, I kind of want that now. I've got the Penguin, the Penguin Random House Library Edition ones, the hardcover ones. I mean, they're great, especially the Black Panther one. But that just looks flipping awesome.
Yeah, it's super beautiful, and it just it really kind of depends on your budget and if it's worthwhile having something that's kind of created with such care and such attention to detail. I think it's worth it, but only for a character that I feel like you would I wouldn't say. For me, I wouldn't try to collect all of the Folio Society stuff because it's way too expensive. But for characters that I love and I'm obsessed with, and stories that I'd want to read from the original, having a Captain America Comics issue number 1, that's millions and millions of dollars. There's no way I could own that. So this is the next best thing. But unfortunately, Kyle, it's not a foil Batman or foil Captain America cover. So
your loss.
That I don't think Folio Society does do. So
yet, they're not smart. When they get smart, they will.
When they get smart, when they actually want to make money,
correct,
they'll start doing. Yeah. You know who's actually probably doing this next? That's probably if they can do it well and actually create a sustainable business model off of this.
Eric July?
No, actually. The EC Comics guys that we backed for the horror comics.
Oh yeah, is it? It's not Magnetic Press. No.
I forget. They just released an announcement. Yeah, but those guys could do something similar.
They are foil in their books.
Well, that's because they're tacky. But
well, yes.
Salty says, Max, what edition or release of that Captain America book want to buy? This is the first edition. I don't know when it was released.
I think at least maybe 2 to 3 years ago, those started coming out.
Folio Society, London, 2021.
4 years ago. Damn.
First printing, 2021. This edition published by the Folio Society. Comics reproduced here. Originally published, blah, blah, blah. And yes, slipcase and binding illustration by Michael Cho.
Called it.
So yeah, Salty, if you can find, let's see. If you can find this guy right here, that first printing 2021, you might be in some. You might have to, take out a loan, but no, I'm kidding.
Yeah, they're like what?
They're not that expensive.
Yeah, they're at least $100. I know that.
They're fairly expensive. So it's $8 million. Yes. Yeah. Let's see. I may have missed what some of you guys were talking about in the chat. JK said, "Is that so that it can be sold in countries that outlawed certain World War II related symbols?" Oh, maybe.
Talk about the swastika on Red Skull.
Yeah. Huh. I don't know. What's going on, Nadia? Great to see you, Nads. Thanks for being here. Happy Independence Day to you. All right. And yes, Nads, God bless the United States of America. Amen to that. Kyle, you got anything for us for show and tell this week or no?
I do not.
Okay. No worries, my friend.
I'm only on mute this whole time because my fucking window is blowing up out here. These fucking assholes are. If they wake up my 2-year-old kid, I'm gonna be so fucking pissed. Like I will lose it.
Bunch of hooligans. You should sit out on your porch and just wave your cane at them.
I would.
I've got the same thing, Kyle. So
oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have a 2-year-old, but
I know. I got you.
Are you sure it's not gunshots?
That'll be me.
Okay. Local man.
Local crazy man.
Yeah.
Local man goes loco.
You want to see fireworks? I'll give you fireworks, and then just unload.
The local news is interviewing someone in the neighborhood, and they're like, "This crazy cracker just ran out in his underwear, firing guns. Like it's 4th of July. We're shooting off fireworks."
He had a 2-year-old in his other arm saying something. We woke him up or something. I don't know.
He shot up my Nissan Altima.
You called down the thunder. Well, now you got it.
Now you got it. You invoke your inner Kurt Russell. I love it. Yep. So, all righty. Well, now that we've got some show and tell in the can, let's get to some news. Now, the news won't necessarily be 4th of July related, but this is just within the current industry right now. We'll cover some news and then we'll get to our 4th of July books. So let's get into that. All right. So the guys were giving me a hard time about this one, but listen here. Y'all are going to be the ones who are sorry. I may have made a mistake earlier when I paid $75 for the Eric July Rippaverse, concept art book. And I may have made a mistake as well when I purchased, what was it, Godlike from not Shane Davis, John Malin, I may have also made a mistake when I purchased, what's another book that you guys give me a hard time about? What I didn't purchase? What?
Just any book. Say a name and we'll say yes.
just anything.
Say something you backed, and we'll affirm that it was a bad decision.
That's fair. Oh, that's the one. It was the one that is no longer being not funded, but the guy is he going to
what's nuts that is like, you're sending me money and like I can't live off this. Like I've been making less than minimum wage.
Yeah.
That
it was like Ghost Raider or
that sounds right. Ghost Rider? No, wait, Ghost
Rider, but it was spelled Raider.
Yeah.
Or it was Death Raider.
Death Raider.
Death Raider. Yeah. I backed Death Raider. And now that's not going to come to fruition because he's just like, yeah, you guys pay my bills while I'm making the comic. And we're like, no, that's not how this works. So y'all laugh at me.
It was someone that's had a Kickstarter for like 5 years now, going on 6 years, something like that.
Yeah,
that's Dan Fraga.
Dan Funmite, was it on Funmite Comic?
I don't know. Yeah.
No, I think it was Indiegogo. I'll bring it up here in just a second. Yeah. But I did,
Rob Hunter.
Rob Hunter.
Yeah, that one. I think it's been like 3 years or something with him.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But all that being said, y'all laughed at me when I backed those. But you will not laugh at me when I back this.
Well,
the art of Daniel Warren Johnson.
Listen,
the Kickstarter campaign. What? You already getting on my butt about this one too?
I'm just gonna say I can't wait for you to get this book, and then for him to have like pages of text where he's writing about different things, and where he's talking about like politics and our country and. Because I feel like it might be going in there,
lockdown, and it was the worst time of his life, and
that's a good point.
Nothing but pages, but his Wonder Woman book he did.
Yeah, right.
That or his concept art for The Moon Follows Me or Moon Follows Us.
Oh no! Oh my God! Wait, now you guys are making good points.
That. Yep. Because we think about these things, Max. We think.
Anything you want won't be in this book.
Because my mind immediately goes to I want to see black and white of Beta Ray Bill and Murder Falcon. Those are the two that I want to see. Black and white of those two.
Yeah, no, you're not going to get that in this. Sorry, buddy.
Not
enough room. Not enough room.
Not in your dreams, buddy boy.
Buddy.
But what also I think is kind of interesting about this, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this is going to be published by Flesk. Yeah, Flesk Publications. Now,
that sounds made up.
Flesk? No, Flesk is because when I first heard that, I was like, that's a pretty big name that had published like much larger creators than Daniel Warren Johnson. So the fact that he's got this deal with this Kickstarter campaign with Flesk, I was like, oh wow, that's big time. So
I think Transformers was a big part of that.
That very, very well, very may well be the case. So, but DWJ says the art of Daniel Warren Johnson coming to Kickstarter, 270-ish pages, commissions, comics, covers, sketchbooks that nobody's ever seen. That'll be
or
cool.
Want to see.
We hit a home run on this one. Thank you so much, Flesk, for helping make this book happen. Launches July 15th. Man, so you guys aren't backing this one?
I want to see some interiors first. Probably not anyway, but I still want to see what this thing looks like.
Okay.
Is this his cover? This can't be the cover of the book.
Oh, I guarantee it is.
That's probably terrible cover.
You don't like it?
Fuck no.
It's his own. It's him. It's his his portrait, self-portrait, and then it's got all his characters. You've got Extremity, Do a Power Bomb, Murder Falcon. The gang's all there.
I don't give a fuck. How about an actual cover you did?
I'm sure they will offer. I think what'll probably happen is they will offer like this one is the A cover, and then you can do different tiers or whatever. But man, I thought you guys might give this more credence. But all right.
He's done it.
Jamin says
he's burned that. Like he's literally done it. And if he's kept his fucking mouth shut, and it would be easier to be like, yeah, sure. Because how much are we expecting? $100 for this? $75? I mean, I don't know. Like, what is it? Hardcover? Is it gonna like
probably 150? I'm thinking
150. Okay.
'Cause-
Sketch options, right in the middle, maybe.
Probably. Yeah.
Remark. I don't know.
Yeah. Because whenever I think of an artist edition, like an 11x17, those are normally 150.
Right. Okay.
And I'm assuming that this is probably what that's going to be.
You think it's going to be that big? 11x7. You think it's going to be
assuming
full size like that?
I hope so.
No, I mean I do too.
I mean, I prefer.
So shipping is going to be $45. Okay.
Yeah. Jamin says, "Is this a vanity project or something?" No.
It's a cash grab.
That's what it is.
The Art of the Cash Grab by Daniel Warren Johnson.
Because they're probably like, listen, this guy's at the peak of his abilities right now. He's just finished Transformers. He did the hottest Wolverine cover this year. Like, the guy is riding a high. Let's do an art book for him right now and cash in. Right?
Well, not just that. I'm sure they all saw how well David Finch's art books did, or Joe Jusko. And they're like, you know what? There is money in these art books. Who'd have thought?
Yeah, 100%.
They
did one.
And if he has the majority of it on him, if he owns it still, then it's like, yeah, here are the pages. I just need to just scan them in. Boom, you got it. So,
well, actually, he might not even have to do that though, Kyle, because remember, he's through Felix Comic Art. So
yeah, I'm sure he's tired of those cocksuckers taking a percentage of his shit. So he's like, I'm gonna do my own Kickstarters where I'm gonna get the majority of the money.
Dude, do you know how much Felix makes him? Like, even when I went to Danny Warren Johnson's,
how much he makes Felix, like he gives the
that's it's a symbiotic relationship. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, every signing I've ever been to for Danny Warren Johnson, Felix has been there.
Yep.
So they're kind of his manager.
Yeah, there is rep. Yeah, there is art rep. Yeah, because there's Felix, there's sketch art, there's essential sequential. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which Essential Sequential should be releasing the art of Adam Kubert or Andy Kubert here pretty soon. So I'm looking forward to getting that one as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, Salty says I need to see in tears and what he's talking about. If it's rambling commie shit, I'm out. The thing I remember was the day after Trump got into office and he won the election for the and you know was, well, what would you call that? He was officially like elected into office. Daniel Warren Johnson was on his live stream and he's like, I don't want to say he was throwing a fit because he wasn't. He was just being pouty. And he was like, hey guys, well, I'm here again for another live stream. And, you know, well, if I'm in a bit of a mood, you guys know why. And I was just like, stop being, don't.
Because you made another $10,000 right now for no reason. Hey, right.
Because you're literally like making millions off of your art, and no matter what president is in office, you're still going to be making millions off of your art. Like it felt pouty, and I was like, come on, man, what are you doing?
And I'm sure now with the new tax code changes, he's going to be making even more.
Probably. Who knows?
Can't admit it.
Gavin says, I finally read Murder Falcon yesterday while listening to the Metal Spotify playlist they put together for the book. It was badass. Hell yeah, dude. And that's the thing. You can't deny DWJ's like artistic talent, his creativity, just his ability to put these worlds together. It's impeccable. It's mind-blowing. But yeah.
He's sullied his own name, unfortunately. So I don't know about this one.
Well,
just for context, I'm looking at some of the other art books that they have, and it looks like a lot of the comic book artists that they do 9x12 books, but they're not priced bad at all.
Oh, cool.
They seem to be around 180 pages, and they're anywhere from like 70 to 125 for hardcover.
Okay.
So not bad.
That's good. That's where it should be. So okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
now
awesome,
some of their, it looks like higher end artists that they feature, they do the 11.5 by 12 inch
or 11 by 17.
Well, the largest I've seen is 11.5 by 12.
That's odd. That's like a square though.
That's what I'm saying. It's not comic art. It's like traditional artists.
Gotcha.
Real
artists.
Real
artists.
No, I didn't know how else to say like just traditional art.
Yeah.
Sure.
So.
Well, I mean, smart. There are other guys like Neil Adams, Rob Liefeld, who do it like on little pieces of paper, like little 5x7 pieces of paper, and then they just blow it up to 11 by 17 after they finish sketching it up.
Mm-hmm.
Rye Guy Casey says Flesk makes great art. Wait, Rye Guy, are you saying that Flesh makes great? Like, are you saying? Is this an? Are you admitting something about?
It puts lotion on its skin, or it gets the hose again.
Easy, Buffalo Bill.
Yeah.
We're sure a great big fat person.
Have I ever shared about the time that I met the Buffalo Bill actor?
No.
Yeah, he was friends with my neighbor Hillary. Like they knew each other going back years. And I just walked down. Like Hillary and I had a relationship because there's only 4 units in our building that we would just come up, and she always left her door unlocked, which was crazy to me. But she was like, "Don't even knock, honey, just come in." Well, you got to think of a New York accent. And I walked in, and he's just like chilling on the couch talking to her. I'm like, "Holy shit, it's Buffalo Bill." So, yeah. Anyways, that's it.
That's pretty wild. Wow. Salty says, "I want to lock Mark Brooks and Danny Warren Johnson in a basement and see who survives." To be fair, Mark Brooks is 1,000,000,000 quintillion times worse than Danny Warren Johnson has ever been or ever will be.
Agreed.
Mark Brooks is his persona online, on Blue Sky, on Twitter, on whatever, is a internet troll, just like mind rot, brain rot mentality. And yet he's a very, very, very good artist. And I won't take that away from him, but yeah, his persona online is like tough guy, macho, liberal, badass, Billy Badass. And Daniel Warren Johnson is very passive. He just likes to show off his art. He's very emotional. I just love people, man. Like he is much different than Mark Brooks. But
didn't Daniel Warren Johnson serve though? Wasn't he in?
I don't think so.
Okay, never mind. Maybe I was just getting him mixed up with Philip Kennedy Johnson.
Yeah,
I know
Philip Kennedy
PKJ
Johnson.
did, but
yeah, that's right, Fiend. Mark, fight me in a Comic-Con, you pussy, Brooks. Yeah, 100%. Salty says, "I met Mark Brooks in person a few weeks ago." Oh wow, the Dread Pirate himself. He really is a filthy dark energy hippie dipshit. Oh man, that's too funny. Yeah. Gavin says, "I don't know anything about this DWJ politics stuff." And that's the thing, Gavin. DWJ has been, I will give him total credit. He's been really good as far as not being overly political or sharing that stuff with his friends and fans and stuff like that. We know which way he leans, but it's never infused into his stories. It's never hindered his artwork. It's never become his online persona. But he's done things in the past where there was an interview back in 2021 where it was with Comic Tropes, and Comic Tropes was talking to him about what do you think about these Comicsgate guys who love your stuff too? Because you have all these fans that are comic book people, and then you've got fans in Comicsgate, and what do you think about that? And it was such a loaded question, and it's such BS, right? But Daniel Warren Johnson had said something to the effect of sometimes I just want to punch those guys in the face because they're just idiots, but I'm thankful that everyone loves my work and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, Dan, you wouldn't hurt a fly. Dan wouldn't punch a Comicsgate guy in the face, but he was just saying, yeah, I disavow those guys and they suck or whatever. It's, Kyle, you and I have said this before, but you have to assume every single artist or creative in the industry is not like, oh, I'm a Democrat. It's like, I lean as far left as I can. And then when they do something based or when they do something different, you're like, oh, wow, that's kind of...
Yeah, he's one of the cool ones. He's one of the normal ones. Okay, he's a normie. All right, awesome.
Yeah, oh, you're a normal person. Oh, good.
It's like, I'm not that, and that doesn't mean I'm going to go up there and wear my fucking MAGA hat in front of him saying, woo, America, yeah! It's just like, no, and just like these far leftist fucking douchebags, it's just like, look, I'm not going to go up there and start talking politics in front of you, but when they come out and say just these idiotic things that they're clearly watching CNN, MSNBC, and that's all they watch, clearly, because that's the shit they spout on Twitter, and it's just like, God, you're a fucking retard. Like, I don't understand it. It's like, just keep your mouth shut. And unfortunately, I think a lot of that stuff did fall in with Daniel Warren Johnson with The Moon is Following Us. Like, that is a piece of shit. And it's clearly has an agenda. And it's like, you let that get a hold of you when you were writing that story, which is why it sucks. And it's just, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's not a good book. It's not a good story.
And that one's like an anomaly. It really is. Specifically, that book, more than any other book that he has ever done, really infuses that beta male, alpha female, girl boss, feminist like ideology. Or what would you call it? Politically incorrect or correct, like identity politics or whatever. That is much more infused in The Moon is Following Us than anything else he's ever done. And I wonder if that's because of Riley Rossmo.
But Riley Rossmo was just inking, right?
No, he did the illustrations for a lot of those issues.
He did all the art.
But he didn't write it.
I thought they like co-created the concept.
Oh, I thought it was all DWJ's story, and that moron just came in.
I think there was some collaboration there. So
yeah.
Shame on both of them, and shame on DWJ for working with somebody like that. But you just know you're an idiot. Like, that just again shows your character and who you are as a person. It's just like, give me a break.
I mean, speaking of individuals who, have let their own ideology infuse itself within their creative integrity. Do you guys want to read the 10 Captain America stories to read for the 4th of July?
Hell yeah.
Woo! Because this list will be super, like, this is going to be the definitive list, right? I mean, like, because when I was doing research for us tonight, we wanted to look up books that we could read for the 4th of July and talk about. And so I was like, man, there've got to be some good ones out there that we could talk about, right? So CBR thinks that they have the definitive top 10 Captain America stories to read. So,
and perhaps they include the new #1 Captain America by Chip Zdarsky. So we'll see.
Maybe the one that Salty says that wasn't patriotic, hates service members, and sucked dead possum sack.
100%.
To some,
man.
Sure.
So they do have Captain America Comics #1. Love it. That's good. I like that. For Secret Empire. All right. Cap's time is Nomad. Okay. Only grows in relevance. Interesting. Following the events of Secret Empire, Steve Rogers was increasingly frustrated with the idea of being Captain America. After Hawkeye battled him, Cap's time as Nomad only lasted 5 issues. However, it allowed readers an insight into Rogers' identity crisis. How others manipulated the image in his absence. As Americans live in an increasingly divided society, Rogers' ultimate realization that he must confront the evils in his country only gains relevance with time. The Old order changeth, a metaphor for American society.
So
Interesting.
is this in order of what they believe, or is it just randomly? Like,
I think it's in order of like their top. So their number one will be the one that they recommend the most.
which would probably be Ta-Nehisi Coates, knowing these jackasses.
What? Why would you say that?
Because
we're already at number 2, and we haven't seen Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Because they're very rote, predictable, lazy hacks.
He wouldn't be on this list, though, Drew. Come on. We're already at number 2. He definitely wouldn't be the number 1 pick that they make for the best Captain America book to read on 4th of July, right?
Oh, we'll see. We'll see.
Oh,
look at that. Oh,
gosh. Wait a sec. Oh no. Oh no. Coates' book thoughtfully explored the repercussions of a publicly fascist Captain America while returning the beloved version of Steve Rogers to readers, simultaneously appreciative and critical of America. Coates used his time on the book to examine the intertwined racial and economic problems of modern America while still providing an excellent superhero story.
Absolutely. I 100% agree.
You wrote this, didn't you?
No.
Wow.
Maybe.
Number 1, Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Yep. One of the biggest race hustlers in comics.
Yeah. Also remember one of those issues where he had who was it? Sharon Carter, I think, in like was it like a Hulkbuster type suit or some type of mech suit?
God, that sounds awful.
And
that sounds right.
Yeah, so I can't remember. I just remember she looked awful. And
I distinctly remember the art got terrible pretty damn quickly. Yeah.
So, what do y'all think? You think this is a good list? I mean, these first few I think are fine. I mean, I would probably recommend them putting on the Roger Stern and John Byrne 9-issue run. The only Grunwald stuff that they have is Captain America No More, but that's it. Like, they don't have the presidential issue. They don't have the Serpent Society. They don't have Flag Smasher. They don't have like any of that. Nothing.
No, and it just like I said, just shows how lazy, rote, predictable, and just unfair, unobjective these jackasses are.
Yeah.
They don't even have the Mark Waid stuff on there with Ron, what he did with Ron Carney or Andy Kubert, which is a crime.
Oh, that was later. That was in like the 90s, right?
Yeah, the Man Without a Country run. Yeah, it's really damn good.
Did you? Oh, you liked that one? Okay,
yeah, I honestly
totally bypassed it.
One of the first stories I read was when Captain America came back after quote unquote dying. It was when Red Skull's blood saved him and brought him back. I was like, it was a kick-ass story, and none of that stuff is in this list, and it just shows it's Civil War. Civil War has only gotten worse as time has progressed.
You think
honestly,
so?
Yes. But this list sucks.
It's not what I would go with. I'll say that.
No, not even half this list. 75% of it I would not have on my list.
Yeah, unfortunately. So, no, F that race hustler, race baiter. The grifter, hustler, baiter, like all that stuff.
The guy who said he felt the worst of them. The guy who said he felt nothing when first responders were dying, when the towers collapsed in New York. Yeah, piece of shit.
Didn't he say something that like we deserved it or something? It's just like the worst of the worst.
Probably.
And this is the guy who like they got to write the hope of the American ideal. Like, oh, that's intentional. Oh well. Fiend says picked up the trade for the Stern Byrne Cap run today. That's a real comic or Cap comic book. You are 100% correct, my friend, and we are going to go through issue 250 to 283. and 232, I think, are the or two something like that. We're gonna go through those later, and those are or actually no, the only one that Stern and Byrne is the presidential one, which is 250, and then the other ones are Grunwald. But yeah, we're gonna be talking about that a little bit later, brother. But great pickup. That trade is fantastic. So
yeah, John Byrne's cap. I love it. How he draws it.
So good. So good. JK says, good night. Y'all have a wonderful Independence Day, JK, and thanks for being here. I'm waiting for a Ripa Captain Texas comic for $45 with 96 pages of 3D assets and spelling mistakes. Wow.
That's a read, my friend.
Would you pick that one up, Kyle?
Absolutely.
I was going to say, I mean, if you don't pick up the Danny Warren Johnson one, at least you know you're getting quality.
That's all that matters. That's all I want. And it'll be on time.
It'll be on time, and it'll be hours of entertainment as we talk shit about it. Yeah.
The gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
100%. Captain Texas, his catchphrase would be like, "We're gonna secede from the Union." Yeehaw! Every time he punches some guy in the face.
Actually, he'd probably do something gay like "Feel that friendship," because Texas is the friendship state.
Yeah. The stars at night are big and bright. Ain't that right? And then he knocks him out.
Ain't that right?
Yeah, I forgot about this. That's the run that the Ta-Nehisi Coates run is when they have Red Skull as Jordan Peterson.
That's right.
Yep. And Jordan Peterson capitalized it big time with his red the lobster shirts.
Yeah.
Lobster.
Yeah.
Yep.
I got one.
No, those are great.
Mm-hmm.
That's hilarious. I'm glad that he just ran with that. So, well, that's unfortunate. I'm kind of bummed that that CBR article didn't really have anything for us to deal with there. I was really hoping they'd give us something good. So, but you know what story really has stood the test of time is who was it? Who wrote the Captain America of Hydra Cap?
That was Nick Spencer.
Nick Spencer? Okay.
Nick Spencer, yeah.
So when we think of Hydra Cap, let me go ahead and play just the first portion of this video here, and then we'll get into our discussion of what Hydra Cap means.
Until had a lot of threats before they even happened. The punishment usually came after the crime. Can't afford to wait that long. Who's we?
Chris Evans is about to rock the MCU harder than Thor at a Led Zeppelin concert. Yep.
Oh, that's so funny. That's a great line. Got him.
On.
Oh, I'm listening now.
Now that I have you.
Thor would rock a concert like Led Zeppelin. Yes, I do agree.
Yep. The man who once made "I can do this all day" a personality trait is officially back for Avengers Doomsday. But before you start sewing your Team Cap flags again, pump the brakes. It's not that simple. Word on the street is Chris Evans might not be our goody two-shoes Steve Rogers this time. No, Marvel seems ready to mess with our emotions on a spiritual level. Rumor has it we're finally getting Hydra Cap. That's right. Chris Evans as a full-blown Hydra agent. Somewhere a bald eagle just shed a single tear.
Oh no. So Josh, based off of your MCU connections, and some of your insider, kind of insider secrets, what do you know about Hydra Cap? Do you think we're actually going to see it? Like, is this going to come to fruition?
I haven't talked to Brenda in a while, but I will say I've heard that there are 4 actors that they have not announced officially that they are that are established Marvel actors that are filming for Secret Wars. So my bets would say 100% you should probably expect 100% expect Chris Evans, and it wouldn't surprise me if they do this bullshit because it's going to be Elseworld, and you've already got RDJ as Doom, and they're gonna have what's her nuts back, home ScarJo. So
That's right. What's her nuts?
So, yeah, sorry.
I thought you were talking about the.
She was so butch in the movie today that I got a little confused there for a second.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I thought when you said what's her nuts, I thought you were talking about the thing from that weird thing from Ironheart.
Slug?
The one that was like clink clang
Shake-a-lay.
or whatever. Yeah,
And
shake-a-lay,
not to
clink.
toot my own horn, but I'm like one of the most
Toot.
wanted people in Magiport. Toot toot.
Clink clang toot toot. whatever the thing is. Yeah, that thing, whatever that is. Yeah, I thought you were talking about him, her.
The best
Her?
character in the show,
Yeah.
The most entertaining.
for sure.
Oh, for sure. And you didn't even see how things ended with Slug, Max. I mean,
Oh,
You have no
gosh,
idea.
Dang.
the acting caliber there.
oh,
So
I'd love to.
Yeah.
So all that being said, so you haven't really heard much, but you think that we probably could be. It would be safe to say that we could assume that we'd see Hydra Cap.
I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay,
So,
all right.
yeah.
Kyle, what? I mean, we all know the comic strip of him saying "Hail Hydra" and it's this big reveal, and everyone goes nutso because it's like, oh my god, it's the exact antithesis, or he's been a Hydra spy the whole time, and it was this big reveal. Do you think this does anything for the MCU? Do you think this is going to make people upset? Do you feel any certain way about this, or are you just kind of like, okay? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I at this point I give very little fucks, if any, at this point. So if I saw, it's just like, all right, whatever, sure, go ahead. It's a fucking one-off, throw-off. Who gives a shit? He's gonna show up and say his little line and do his thing and whatever. Who cares? I mean, it's not a big deal.
Everything MCU right now just feels desperate. It just
Exactly.
screams desperate. So yeah.
Would this be a deal breaker for you, Drew? Like, do you plan on seeing the Avengers film, Secret Doom of Infinite Earths?
I honestly don't know. I really don't know. Because look, they got everyone back because they need a hit. They need it. And the only reason why, that's the reason why RDJ is back. That's the reason why the Russos are back. They're bringing back pretty much everyone who's like 1 foot into the grave right now. It's like because they're desperate. This reeks of desperation, and desperation is a stinky cologne. And we'll see how good it's going to be. I don't think it will be, because I think everyone's going to be here just collecting a paycheck. But we'll see.
I almost like, I don't know. There's a part of me that's like, I dare you, Disney. Do it. See what happens. Like, you've already done like so much damage to the brand. Like, do this to Cap and see what happens. Like, no one's gonna like, it's one of those things where it's like everyone's gonna wave it off as just like, oh, it's an alternate universe, so it doesn't really matter. There are no stakes. There's no real urgency or weight to any of this. Because we all know that everyone's going to die and it'll just bring in a new universe or something and multiple different universes. And I wonder if that's how I feel about the comic as well. Because when I initially heard and read the whole Hydra Cap thing, I was just like, this is so not Captain America that I don't even, like, I relegate this to less than fan fiction. Like, I don't even consider it to be lore. I don't consider it to be canon. It's so not Captain America that it's just not I don't even see it as like a good twist of like whoa, he was a spy the whole time. Like, it's like, no, because that's just not the character.
No. Oh no, what would work, even though I absolutely hate it, is you just have Deadpool come in and shoot him in the fucking head. Like, that's the end of it. He says a stupid line, everyone's like, "Oh my god!" and then just shot in the head, and it's like, okay.
He looks directly into the camera, and he goes, like, glad that's so, or aren't you guys glad that didn't happen, or something?
Yeah,
some
like, you're
stupid,
welcome, nerds, or so.
There you go. Okay. Yep. You're welcome, you stupid freaking smelly beard, like neckbeard basement dwelling nerds.
Yep. You're welcome, fellowship.
I will say
Yeah.
this. Thunderbolts actually was supposed to initially be Dark Avengers. Somehow
That I do believe.
they had their reveal at the end as New Avengers. There was always a plan to do a reveal, but it was going to be the Dark Avengers.
Dark
But
Avengers.
they changed it to New Avengers. And why do we think they would suddenly make that change?
Because Baron Zemo was not on the team to call it Dark Avengers.
No. Why do you think they changed it to not be Dark Avengers anymore?
Because of the black people.
Because they have enough black people on the team.
Well, let's see. There was a plan, and then they completely said, "Fuck it, we're bringing the Russos back. We're changing what we were gonna do. RDJ is gonna come back and be Doom, but not. We don't really know if it's Victor Von Doom. For all we can understand, it's still Tony Stark, right?
And then Tony Stank. Okay,
Tony Stank, and then you have, for all intents and purposes, Chris Evans coming back and Scarlett Johansson coming back.
So it could
why
be the Dark
why would you have the B-list team Dark Avengers anymore?
Interesting. I mean, the puzzle pieces make sense if you put them together.
Yeah,
that would track.
But I think they need more black people, though.
Well, they could always use more black people. That's for sure. Because diversity is their strength.
Correct.
So-
Especially with the name like Dark Event. I mean, it makes sense.
It lends itself to so many great, great scenes that we would be able to see.
I mean, Riri's already a villain, so that helps.
She would be the leader of the team.
I think
I
she'd
would
have to
assume,
be
so.
at this point.
Yeah. All right. So next up on the list, this one's just really quick. Won't take us too long, but I do want to mention it just because I think it's important. But Drew, you may be able to speak to this a little bit more than I could because I don't know too much of the ins and outs of this. But Wes just did a video on this, and this is pretty interesting. Dynamite owed $1 million by Diamond can't make payroll next week. Drew, have you heard anything about this or read anything up about this whole Dynamite situation and Diamond thing?
Yeah, so I've been really this is something I've been concerned about honestly for the past year and some change, because I'd been involved in some projects that were around Dynamite, and I talked to some people behind the scenes, and everything I'd been hearing for the past year, it's that Dynamite has been kind of on shaky ground, predominantly due to the licenses. Now, what a lot of people watching this may not realize is that when you get the license to publish certain characters, it costs money, and depending on the IP that you're licensing, it's going to be a lot of money. So when you have Hanna-Barbera characters, these legacy characters have been around for 60 plus years, like Johnny Quest, Space Ghost, the Herculoids, that's going to cost a lot of money. And on top of that, you're paying for cover artists. So you're paying for guys like Lucio Prio, Carla Cohen, Bjorn Behrens. That's going to cost a lot of money. And unfortunately, I don't think the returns on their investment have been to where they want them to be. So I think the costs have unfortunately outweighed the value of these comics and the IPs that they licensed out. And I think Nick Barucci he went in too deep to the IPs to this, and unfortunately, he's been having to sell off some of his own personal collection of original art to help keep his company afloat.
Oh,
yeah, his own personal
Wow.
OA collection, and unfortunately with Diamond right now and with this, I have a strong feeling this is only the tip of the iceberg. This is going to be one of the first of the many dominoes to start falling, and I think if Dynamite doesn't get their money, there's going to be a lot of other small publishers who are owed money from Diamond that could probably potentially fall and right after Dynamite, and that's not going to be good for anyone.
Dude, I heard something today that Steve Jeppy, I think is the name of the Diamond owner.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Was he is or was holding onto shipments of books that never got shipped to publishers and is selling them himself to get money to like
yeah. Dynamite has like warehouses of stuff, and they're pretty much selling them on the cheap to get rid of them. And yeah, they're not letting these publishers get a hold of these books.
Dynamite, not Diamond. Okay.
I'm sorry, Diamond. Diamond.
Okay, so it is Diamond.
Okay. Yeah, Diamond. I'm sorry. Yeah, Diamond has them, and yeah, they're selling them on the cheap, and they're pretty much like locking out these publishers from getting those books back.
Damn, dude, that's sleaze. That's like low bottom tier level sleaze bag type of behavior.
Oh, yes, 100%. And
oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's just look. I mean, I know a lot of people who say nice things about Steve Jeppy, but a lot of things I'm hearing about him, just his. I mean, just the money what he's bought, you know, a museum dedicated to him and his collection and everything else. I'm just like, I really don't know about this guy.
Yeah. Salty, you could be right here, man. I don't know. I'll ask the panel because this is a good question. Do we think that this, you know, Dynamite now, IDW next, then maybe Boom? We've already seen AWA and Aftershock have either file for bankruptcy or have these issues before. Do we see this having a trickle down effect with Diamond filing for bankruptcy and then being owned by different people and stuff like that?
And unlike Dynamite, I think IDW, they've tried to remedy this problem, because I think it was probably a month ago, an article came out about IDW and how they're changing their titles and their release strategies, their different tactics, like to the point now where the properties, the comics they're going to be releasing now are owned by IDW. They're not going to be doing like IPs. They're going to have Turtles, yes, but like other IPs, no, they're getting away from that. And other creator-owned books, they're getting away from that. So it's going to be a lot of IDW-owned properties they're going to be focusing on. That way, it's not costing them that much money.
Interesting. Okay. I wish I knew more about the inner workings of the industry so I could understand fully all the different, like how things are you know, spaced out, or how they're owned, or how they're sold. And
when you're dealing with IPs, when you're dealing with licenses and IPs, it's a lot of money. And on top of that, I mean, you got residuals, you know, page rates and everything else. I mean, you're already out thousands of dollars, and you got to be able to recoup that investment every month. And it doesn't sound like Dynamite was getting that.
Sounds like Ezekiel did hear that too about Steve Jeppy selling off those books as well. And we have our Canadian friend MG in the chat. Sup, boys? What's happening, brother? Another Canadian here in the chat. Great to see you, man. Hope you're doing well and enjoying the Independence Day. So yeah, I mean, anything else that we want to talk about with Diamond before we get to our last news story? Because really,
Dynamite, if they don't get their money, they can't make payroll next week. And so
that's right. Yeah,
it's going to be interesting next week. And honestly, by the end of San Diego Comic-Con, I'm very curious to see where this industry is going to be.
Yeah,
dude, for real. Yeah, I think they actually wrote to the judge or to the court.
They petitioned to get their money ahead. Yeah.
Yep, 100%. Because they did have to make payroll. So, which I've never heard of that happening before. So,
well, if they put out good books, it would obviously help them.
That's a really good. That's a great point.
All of these fucking companies, Dynamite, Boom, put out some good fucking shit, you assholes. That just means no. We're just gonna keep putting out books, and these people just keep buying it. We'll just put Red Sonja on something, and we'll just keep putting this crap out that nobody reads. We'll put a Lucio Perillo cover on it, and we'll pay him, $5,000 for a cover, and hopefully it'll sell enough. It's like, okay.
On top of Carla, who probably is just under that much. Who knows?
Yep.
And I mean, what's even more shocking now? I'm very curious now, because if you've never been to San Diego, Diamond and previews, they take up a huge floor space at the convention center. That's gone now. And so I don't even know who's going to be there now, because I distinctly remember where they're at. They have like rows and rows of statues, glass cases of comics, everything else. And that's all gone now.
Yeah.
Gone. I don't know what's going to be there.
I think this year's going to be an interesting San Diego Comic-Con because I don't think Marvel's going to be at Hall H this year either, but DC will be. So
here we go, changing
We'll
of the
see.
guard, boys.
DC will
And-
be, but DC I think also stated that they're not going to be really announcing anything.
Well, because
That's a
Superman was
ploy.
their
That's
big
smart
thing.
move on their part. Good for
Yeah.
Yeah.
them.
I mean, it's very much Warner Brothers has stepped in to say like, hey, you know, like we've announced a few things, we're sticking with that, we're not announcing anything else. And then James Gunn accidentally lets slip that there's pre-production on a film that wasn't part of the original slate that they announced that has started, but he didn't
James
say what
Gunn.
it was.
James Gunn accidentally said that he hates little Indian boys, 12-year-old Indian boys on the internet.
What?
Uh-oh.
Where did that
You
come
didn't
from?
see? You didn't see the interview?
I missed.
Oh
something.
shoot! Well, he basically he's in he's doing his publicity stuff. He's doing his blah blah blah. And Jamin's like, "What?"
I was so
Sorry.
I literally was
I
so
don't know what you're
confused.
talking
I'm like,
about either.
did I miss something? Like, was I thinking and not listening? And I was like, did I totally just miss what they were talking about? And I just started talking about random shit. Like,
No. So James,
No,
I was just
this one.
yeah. I'm the one who's being weird. So yeah, James Gunn on his publicity tour, and he wants to be the one who's like talking about Superman. It's my movie. It's James Gunn's Superman. Blah blah. And he's in the interview, and the guy asks him, "How do you think how do you respond to all the online haters, and how do you respond to all this stuff?" And he goes, "Well, you got some, I'm paraphrasing, of course. I'll try and find the clip, but he's like, yeah, you just get some stupid stuff that's thrown at you, and you gotta just kind of brush it off because it's probably some 12-year-old kid in India that you don't care about or something like that." And then everyone online was like, "Wow, I didn't know James Gunn is now racist." So then he went the next day on an Indian YouTube channel and was like, "We love our Indian fans, and like a lot of my Superman film is based off of Bollywood." And I was like, "Bullshit! No, absolutely not. You were such a liar."
I can't wait for this movie.
It's so fun. Let me see if I can find those two clips because it's hilarious.
Oh
But,
my god! No, I missed that. So
yeah, so but yeah, a lot of his detractors are from India, I'm sure. We have a lot of Snyder fans that are there. Even when we look at our good friend Flaccid, the Don, Josh, a lot of his hate on his YouTube channel comes from Indian fans. So there you go.
Those bot farms, let me tell you, they're no joke.
Well, and I think that's initially what James Gunn was trying to say.
Yes.
He was probably trying to say, like, it's probably some Indian 12-year-old Indian kid in a bot farm somewhere
Correct.
just trolling me. But the
That's
way
what
that
everyone
he made
knows.
it,
Exactly.
But
Everyone knows that. But we love throwing it back in your dumbass SJW face, you piece of shit. Like,
yes,
that's the joke, you fucking asshole. Like, you see, you don't like it when they come after you, you stupid fuck. Like, do you get that? Like, that's the funny part in all of it.
It's so funny. So
he went on an Indian.
He
love
did.
how stupid he is.
And he's such a liar.
And more. Everybody was like, "You got to go on that fucking YouTube channel and you apologize, right?"
well, yeah, no.
You
I was gonna
apologize.
say because didn't Warner Brothers make John Cena or The Rock do that?
Yeah,
One
John
of the two?
Cena apologized in Mandarin Chinese.
Yeah,
he's speaking in Mandarin.
and then the Chinese people were like, "We hear someone, but we cannot see them."
Oh, where are you? Oh,
Being
I
chilling.
cannot see. Oh, I do not see your face.
being chilling. Wait, no. I thought. What did we say? Japanese is like that. Chinese is amora Chinese, but Japan is more samurai.
Oh. Yeah, okay.
Sanaru. All right. Let me see if I can find this video. We'll add this to our news cycle because I had no idea you guys didn't hear about this. I wasn't going to talk about it because I just think it's, stupid. It's so inconsequential, but it's so funny. I can't find the individual clips, but I'll bring it up on Ryan Kinnell's channel because he actually had a pretty good video covering both. But let me see if I can share this with you guys.
And of course it is. James Gunn wrote his dog into this. He wrote his wars on social media into this movie. But it was his response that had some people a little bit upset. Let's listen to this.
You're active online. We've seen what you've had to deal with.
That's right. A couple of little things here and there. Was any of that infusing in here cathartic for you, or why did you want to incorporate Superman's responses that he has towards online criticism?
Well, obviously I relate. Obviously I relate to that. I do tune out most of social media, but every once in a while there'll be somebody who will say something. It's always the weirdest stuff. It's never what you expect.
Mm-hmm.
Some weird thing. And I go, God, that guy, I'm gonna, and then I go, I think I might be getting upset about something a 12-year-old in India is saying. You know what I mean? I'm like, let it go. But
now,
so then Ryan goes on to show the clip that he goes on to the Indian channel. So let me see if I can pull that up as well. But you can see So for us, we don't think that's racist at all. I don't even think it's really all that hateful.
It's not at all.
He's just it's such a mild comment that I would never think twice about. But all these people are like, racist, bigot. Oh my God, he's now I'm not seeing the Superman film because James Gunn is racist. And it's just like, oh my God. So here's the clip of him going on to the Indian channel.
Uh-oh. 24 hours after this fiasco went viral, James Gunn happened to make appearance on an Indian YouTube channel where he talked about how much he loves the Indian people and how important Indian filmmaking is and how he loves all the fans in India. Isn't that strange? Let's listen to the first little supercut of this here. Rachel Brosnahan, hello.
How much he means to the people of India, because he really is somebody who looks out for everyone.
Bollywood films. I mean, I feel like we drew inspiration from the color and the movement.
Bollywood films and Eastern cinema in general is the most important thing to me. So that's
the most important thing to me are Bollywood films.
Wow. While he's eating curry.
Yes, yeah.
Really where I take my inspiration for Superman is from Bollywood movies.
Oh, fuck you piece of shit.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised there isn't a cow walking by in the background or something.
That is unreal. I take my inspiration for Superman from Indian Bollywood films. That's
yeah.
He's such a liar, dude.
You know what? Watch this movie actually end up being a decent movie, but it's gonna fail miserably because of how awful the marketing has been. The only good marketing they've had is when they're letting David Corenswet and Rachel Brosnahan just be themselves.
Yeah, and it's James Gunn opening his mouth, shooting his mouth off, and it's like, no, James, shut your mouth. Let your actors do the talking. Let them talk about the movie.
They're gorgeous people. Let them just stand there and be hot. Are you fucking retarded?
Okay, since you said that, whoever told David Corenswet to buzz his head, thank you.
He looks damn good with a buzzed head, if I do say so myself.
And I would have been like, no, he's got good hair. Leave it. But it worked. Did y'all see the one where he was reading comments and someone was like, oh, Rachel Brosnahan's dress, she ate, but he didn't understand. He's like, it's what the kids say. She ate, meaning she knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
So he's reading it and he goes, she's an 8. That's so mean. And she's like, no, they put she ate. And he goes, that's so mean. And he thought they were just misspelling
she
8.
Yeah. She's fat.
And then she goes, oh my God, you are too pure for this. But I was like, this is the shit you should be putting out there. Like, it kind of shows that, good old boy charm of Clark Kent. Like, that's what people should see, not fucking James Gunn every freaking second.
Yeah.
The irony in this entire situation is fucking hilarious, by the way.
Oh, it's hilarious, dude.
Like, it's like he can't even see the irony in this situation you put yourself in because of internet trolls for something you said. Do you not see this?
You couldn't script this better. This
can't.
is a TV show. This is a Seinfeld episode. It's so funny.
And due to his own hubris, you're on these press tours, you're tired as fuck, you're talking about the same stupid bullshit. You can only say the same like 10 lines you're allowed to say, and it's like he may have gone off script. You could have been fucking tired, and he just said something off the cuff, and it's like, God damn it. One time I went off script.
One thing I say, right? Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't do it.
It really feels like he's doing this movie out of spite. It's just I can see David Dazzle. So what do you want to do, Superman? Oh, spite.
Yeah. A spite store.
Actually, I meant Bollywood. Too late. You already said spite. So Bollywood will not work this time.
Spite it is. I guess we're just going to have to go with that.
Yep.
Jamin is Indian, and even he says this is so cringe. Yeah, brother. I agree. James Gunn is a hack.
Thank you, Jamin. I think just say thank you.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, just say thank you.
Thank you, James Gunn, for your brilliant
Correct.
Superman film. Thank you for providing us with such great entertainment.
Yep. Sacrifice some animals to him or whatever the fuck you do over there. And, yep.
I mean, this is the guy who'll shoot his mouth off, but as soon as it comes to a corporate master, it's like, okay, I'll get in line, sir. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But I think he is that guy. Like for DC and Warner Brothers, like I think everyone is kind of kowtowing to him. They're just like, whatever James wants, we'll do, because they don't really have anything else.
Clearly not.
No, at all. No. Like executive wise, not at all. Like he's got his feet held to the fire.
Ah, okay.
And that's why for San Diego Comic-Con, that's why they were like, nope, or no announcements. Like what we have is what you're talking about. No announcements. Because they're very much in a, we're gonna see what Superman does, and then maybe you can say some stuff.
Warner Brothers seems to be a very dumb company, though. But that might be one of the smarter moves they've done recently.
Well, yeah. I mean, they've been failing miserably, so they need some wins desperately.
Yep. Real quick, we're gonna have a brief intermission. Brought to you by Saratoga. Water for champions.
By the way, I tried finding this water locally. Nowhere has it. Even our bougie grocery store doesn't have it.
Well, I got it from my Albertsons. So if you don't have it there, then
we don't have
it anywhere. Cheers to America.
To America.
It helps me wake up. I know. I dip my face and balls in it at 3:52 a.m. every morning.
Oh God, yeah. You guys missed it in Dallas. Max is in the living room, just dunking his balls in sparkling water.
Yep. Really revitalizes you. And
is that in fact American water though, Max? Is it?
Not with that name, it's not.
Now, if we're talking Pellegrino, that's my Italian water. But if we're talking Saratoga since 1872. With exquisite effervescence.
Effervescence.
Words.
This is probably not an American company.
I didn't think so.
But what's the Wayne's World? A new voice of a generation. The Coke.
Yes, it's a choice of a new generation.
Yeah. That's what Saratoga is. Ever since that black influencer guy was on TikTok and Instagram with his stupid, reels dunking his face in this stuff,
and
I had to get it.
$78 worth of Saratoga water.
He's just dumping bottles of this stuff.
He
and,
just
like,
throws
yeah.
it down the drain. Fuck, I'm done with this
Nothing.
shit.
Yeah, so funny. Also, I just wanted to highlight one of my favorite YouTube creators, Pop and Polly, from Pop Culture
Oh,
Philosophers, because I took inspiration from him after one of his shows where he said, like, what did he say? He's sponsored by something, and he's like, I got it from HEB or what?
He didn't even say sponsored. He burped, and he's like, "Oh, sorry, I burped. It's because of this it's because of the sparkling water
From
and then
Aldi,
he said,
yeah.
from
From
Aldi."
Aldi.
And then he's like, "It's really good." And then he mentioned the flavor, and then he takes a sip. He's like, and he just keeps talking about it, like. But it was like mid-sentence. He was like mid-sentence talking about a comic, burped, and then went on this sparkling water tangent.
And you're like, thanks, bro. Didn't even know that you bought it from.
That was the episode where he was like all over the place. Like it was that, and then he was clearly horny, and then it was fuck James Tynan, and
Yeah. He
Yeah.
was
Tiny
he was on
onion.
one. That's how the pros do it.
yeah.
So funny.
Still has his fastball though. That's all that matters.
I love him.
Yep.
I love him. So we are going to transition to our last story for tonight, which is a little bit more somber. But I think in order for us to make it a little bit lighter and on a more positive note, because it is kind of a somber thing that happened within the comic book industry, we did lose a legend recently. So in order to appropriately remember him and honor his legacy, I thought we could talk about some of the comics that he had done and just talk about like the legend that he really was. So with all that being said, RIP to Jim Shooter, teenage comics writer who revolutionized Marvel as editor-in-chief, who unfortunately died a few days ago at 73, which is young when you think about it, man. And what's so weird is I didn't see this coming at all. Like, I didn't even know he had cancer. And so this happened out of nowhere, and he had a battle with esophageal cancer, and unfortunately passed away at 73. But I mean, when we look at someone who has made such an impact on the comic book industry, Jim Shooter started writing at DC at 14 years old. 14. Not like 16 where like, okay, you're a teenager, but you're almost an adult to that 18. No, 14 years old. You're a child. You don't know dick about anything. And this man was writing superhero comics for legendary titles. So started at DC, moved over to Marvel, and I would say ushered in my opinion of the golden era of Marvel Comics. I think 86 to 87 were some of the best years for comic books in all of the industry history. But when you look at his run from 78 to 87 as editor-in-chief, even Rob Liefeld had equated him to Stan Lee. Like when it comes to how he ran things, his creative integrity, how he was able to get the best out of his artists and illustrators and writers and creators. He was the guy who ushered in such a expansive, beautiful era of Marvel Comics that I really cannot think of anything better to say about the man. But yeah, did you guys have anything that you recognized him from, or anything you wanted to share? Because I'll go through some of the books that he was in charge of and what he was pretty much, leading the charge on.
I was just gonna say, you mentioned the fact that he started writing when he was 14, but I love the story behind it that they didn't know he was only 14. Like he was submitting stuff and doing scripts, and then at one point they're finally like, "Oh, we should fly this guy out to New York." So he came out, and even at 14, he showed up in like a suit and tie, and they're like, "Whoa, like wait a second." So yeah.
Like, sorry, kid.
But,
did you you're in the wrong building, kid. Where's your dad? And he's like, "Oh no, I'm the writer you guys wanted to hire."
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I think they actually found out right before he came out, because he had gotten in touch with him to say something like, you know, how do I get one of my parents here with me? Or it was something like that. So they found it right before. But yeah, I don't know. I think the big thing about him is just understanding the importance of protecting your brand. And that, you know, you can't just have loose decisions flying out. And I think that really is what shapes a lot of his legacy. And there are a lot of people that worked under him that did not like him because he would say no. And, you know, and I get the whole artistic license and let artists be artists, but, you know, when you're running a major company like Marvel, sometimes you have to say no. And part of the problem our comics suck so bad now is because you don't have anyone with balls to say no.
One of my favorite stories I have on him is actually with one of the Captain America comics that we read this week. So for Captain America issue 250, so John Byrne and Roger Stern wanted to do something really great for the 250th issue. So Jim Shooter is in charge. He's editor in chief. So the three of them go out to dinner. Jim, Roger, and John. They all go out to dinner and they start kind of conceptualizing ideas for what they want to do for this new Captain America story. Because like Roger Stern is like, I want to do something great for the character that embodies his values and his morals, and his identity is like the American virtue and spirit and all this stuff. And so they're coming up with ideas, and he talks to Jim and he goes, you know, I did hear about this idea about Captain America becoming president and doing that for like a run of like a couple different issues, and having that be like his new status. But ultimately, I don't think we should do that because Cap would never become president. He would never allow his morals and his value system to take on the presidency. Like that's not his status or whatever. So Jim goes, yeah, you're right. Why don't you make that the comic book? And so John and Roger kind of look at each other and we're like, oh yeah, I guess that should be the book, right? And Jim's like, well, yeah, because if you're not going to write it, then write it how you think that Cap would respond to a presidency like nomination. And there you go. That's how Captain America issue 250 came to be. It was like Jim influenced them to say, well, no, you're in the right direction. Go with your gut, because that is who Captain America is. Write about that. And that would be the perfect story. And sure enough, it's an incredible book. Issue 250 still holds up to this day. But stuff like that, where I'm just like, what editor now at Marvel has that type of inspiration, that type of influence, that type of like creative like process to like help their creators think through some of these ideas? Like they're pretty much just glorified grammar checkers. Like they just spell check everything now. But Jim was something different.
Yeah, Jim was different on a whole other level, and he really thought through actions that were going to be taking place in the books. You know, the morality, if you will, of the actions. He was a big part in the Jean Grey dying during the Dark Phoenix saga, because John Byrne wanted her to live, and Jim and Chris were like, she just destroyed a planet. She destroyed like a solar system. You know, there has to be a cost for that. You know, you can't just say everything is fine. You know, no, she's got to die. There has to be she has to go down for that. And yeah, he was smart, you know, to incorporate thinking through actions in books. He took chances on books, you know, and he took risks. I mean, he was behind the New Universe, Dazzler, the Secret Wars, and he alienated creators, but at the same time he brought out the best in a lot of creators. And he ushered, like you said, Max, he ushered in one of the greatest eras in Marvel Comics history, and brought about some of the greatest books, some of the greatest stories in Marvel Comics history. And after that, I mean, his time with Valiant and with Defiant, you know, they're fine. You know, they had their ups and downs, but I mean, his time at Marvel, it's always going to be remembered that he took chances, and a lot of it paid off. And Marvel wouldn't be where it is today without him.
No. Like I would say, yeah. Marvel's always been an industry leader, but having Jim there in the 70s and 80s really pushed them to like a legendary status. When you think of all the classic Marvel runs, let's go ahead and take a look at some of these.
Yeah, look at that
You
time period
can,
between 87 and the 1970s. Like all those classic X-Men runs, Captain America runs, Avengers storylines, just legend.
you had
The Thor
Avengers,
runs, the Fantastic Four
Nam,
stories. God,
Fantastic Four, yeah, and Thor was being helmed by Walt Simonson. So you have Frank Miller Daredevil, Walt Simonson Thor, John Byrne X-Men / John Byrne Cap / John Byrne Fantastic Four. Like just those alone, you're like, okay, legend status. So this
and David
is
Michelini and oh shit, what the hell's his name? David Michelini and what's the artist? Bob Layton on Iron Man.
Yep. So this is 1986. If we go back to, let's see, 78. Actually, let's do 79 because that way he's been there for about a year. Savage Sword of Conan, like I said, Daredevil, Hulk, Marvel 2-in-1, which is great, Ghost Rider, Captain America.
Hey, Howard the Duck.
Amazing
You cannot sleep on
Spider-Man.
Howard the Duck. That was a big sleeper hit. That was a big indie hit, you know, with Steve Gerber.
Oh, I'm sleeping on that one. I don't know about that one.
Shang-Chi.
I think I've read.
It has.
Oh yeah, Shang-Chi.
Yeah, Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu.
Yeah, this X-Men, this era of X-Men was incredible. Early like 100 issues. Let's see. Yeah, these were just so incredible. So that's November, December.
I mean, look at those. Look at those covers and compare the covers to now. It's like these covers tell stories. These covers tell you what's going to happen. You look at the covers now; they're just poses. They're just people just standing there. Oh, I shouldn't say that after seeing Master of Kung Fu number 86, but I mean, but that's the majority of the covers now. But it just these covers are so damn good.
Sometimes less is more though. Like actually, this is a pretty dope cover. Just because it is almost so simple and your focus is on this character. Sometimes, you get covers that are a little bit too much, but for the most part, each one of these has a reason for being very busy because there's a lot of detail and intricacy in all.
Oh, I
these,
love that Daredevil cover right there. Daredevil getting ready to face the Hulk. That's an awesome one.
Let's see, Daredevil.
Right there at top row, 163.
Top row? Oh yeah, look at that. So good stuff all around. And this is just okay. So now we're in a 1980. Doctor Strange. That's right.
You got the Savage Sword of Conan magazine going on. You got more Howard the Duck. Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu, the Star Wars license. You got you had G.I. Joe, you had Transformers,
Sergeant Fury, and his Howling Commandos. Yeah, dude, this is just such a rad era of Marvel Comics.
All those immensely talented creators he had.
Yeah. Ooh, here's the this is a great cover. Avengers 196 with
Taskmaster.
Oh,
George Perez. Yeah.
All right. Well,
yeah, just remember that. They have George Perez and John Byrne working at Marvel. Just remember that.
Say that again, John Byrne and whom?
George Perez.
Yeah. Oh my God. Dude, that spoiled in the 80s. Marvel never equaled his success. And Andy also says Wolverine limited series. That's right. Yeah. Hell yeah, dude. Gavin says Nick Klein Hulk covers are excellent and feel ripped from the issue. Yeah, Andy and Gavin, you guys are both spot on. All righty then. Well, I think that pretty much does it for Jim. I just wanted to kind of honor him real quick before we get into the books that we covered this week. But yeah, I am very grateful for his contributions, and I guarantee, I think without a lot of his influence, I would not be the Marvel fan that I am today, because I'm much more of a Marvel guy than a DC guy, and I think it is because of so much of the creative influence and just the guide and the mentor that he was during that time period. I have a lot to thank. I have him to thank for a lot of that, essentially. So yeah. All right, now let's get into some comic reviews. First up, because Josh is away from the computer for now, so I'm gonna hand it off to the two gentlemen at the very bottom here, Keel and Drew, because they had recommended Superman in Action Comics issue number 775, written by Joe Kelly. Is that right?
Yes.
Joe Kelly, illustrated by Doug Mankey, and inked, I'm assuming, by Lee Bermejo, or maybe Lee did the pen or the pencils and Doug did the inks, but I think it's the other way.
Am I back? Oh, sorry, my microphone got cut out. Yeah, I was like,
oh,
it's Joe Kelly.
Oh, yeah, you're back now. So, and what I will say about this before we get into the comics that we covered for this week, because we're not going to talk too much about modern books that we had this week, because to be 100% transparent, this was one of the worst week in comics that we've had in a while, which means that I did not read a lot of books that came out, because Kyle, Drew, and Josh all read like 20 different books, and not really any of them were good. So I decided, let's make an executive decision to cover older books that have the theme of patriotism or liberty, or themes of freedom, themes of Americana, like whatever that meant to us for this era of, the 4th of July. I wanted to cover books that represented that. So, by the way, sorry if you guys can hear the fireworks outside my window, because
that's been awesome.
Okay, so one thing I want to talk about this issue, because I was reading Action. I was reading Superman when this came out, and people need to remember when this came out. This came out pre-September 11th. I think this came out like March 2001. But at this time, The Authority had already been out. The Authority by Warren Ellis and Brian Hitch was out. And people got to remember, The Authority, what they were doing is that they were enforcing their point of views, their politics on society and humanity at large. Like, you follow us or we're taking you out. So essentially, I mean, this team, the elite that Superman takes on, they're pretty much the Authority stand-ins. And this extreme approach to heroes is a very dark time for heroics at this point. You had heroes taking drastic, dark measures to taking out villains, and you had a character like Superman right here. Like, how would he respond to a team like the Authority? And this is where you get a masterpiece such as this.
Yeah, really. I thought nothing of it. I didn't realize what I was getting myself into. The cover's great, and it says, "What's so funny about truth, justice, in the American way?" So I'm like, okay, interesting. Maybe they're going to have a play on that. And sure enough, man, this was I mean, this was really brilliant. I didn't expect, I guess because I went into this with no expectations, but even if I had been told like this is a masterpiece, I still would have really, I think, enjoyed this for what it is. But yeah, kind of talk to us about why this resonates with y'all so much, because I know, Kyle, you had initially kind of when I had posed the question, hey, what should we cover for Friday, like without hesitation you were like Action 775.
Yeah, I mean, it's this is one of those stories that it is a direct response to that. You know, at the time you have terrorists, dictators, all this stuff going on, especially in our world, and people are terrified, they're scared, and this is pre 9/11, and so you know that is just kind of ramping up, and you see what the world is around us, and we had that, you know, truth, justice, and the American way, Superman, and is that what's needed in our society right now, because everything is getting darker and grittier, and is there a place for Superman in this world? And this shows you why there is a need for Superman and truth, justice, and the American way, and why it's so important, because without it, you have absolutely fucking chaos going on here with this team, the Elite, and what could happen. Like, you may think you want this. It's like, okay, then this is what you'll get if you have that. And so it's a beautifully told story, and it is very reminiscent of today. It fits in very well right now.
Well, it poses this question of, because you have, so here's the Elite, and you have this team who seemingly, like, you know, at first glance, you're like, dude, they could never take on Superman. Come on, what are we talking about? But I think we forget that John Constantine, because this is John Constantine, right? I mean,
Manchester Black.
Manchester Black.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's the John Constantine stand-in here.
Yeah. Okay. And his whole power set could, I think at one point in this comic book, Lois says he could like throw you through a mountain with his mind, you know,
Yeah,
and she's talking, yeah, which is terrifying. Like, he puts a blood clot in Superman's brain. Like, he's able to do this to one of the most powerful beings on the planet. So at first glance, you go like, who is this group of freaking jabronis? But when Manchester Black starts talking to Superman about how they're handling these villains by killing them, right? It's kind of a Punisher way of dealing with criminals and just saying like, we're efficient. We're killing these guys. And America loves us. And that's the thing that kills Superman, is the fact that, you know, he runs into these kids where, you know, they are pretending to be. Oh, this was a great scene with Paul.
Yeah, I was gonna say the scene with
This
Paul
looks like
Kent's excellent.
it looks like Gene Ha did the art here, but anyway, like I said, this book is a direct response to the grim and gritty era of the late 90s, early 2000s, and it direct response to the Authority, and it's amazing. It really it needs to be celebrated more than it is, because I really feel like it's been memory hold, and it's not really being shown as frequently. And something tells me that James Gunn doesn't want us to see this, because I think he's going to be celebrating the Authority.
Interesting. If Superman does well and he's able to launch these other, you know, movies, but Superman is kind of flying through the city, and he's listening to these different people talk, because he's listening to these citizens and he wants to hear their thoughts on the Elite versus Superman, because the Elite are out. They are winning the popular vote.
The popular vote,
Yeah,
and because they're direct response, taking out the villains so they don't have a chance at all to come back.
And these kids go, later for you guys, I'm going home. But you said you wanted to be Superman. Last one calls it Superman, not it. I can't kill you, but you can kill me. How can I stop you if I can't kill? And then the kid playing Manchester Black says, you can't. So let us kill you, and you can just be someone else. okay, kill me and I'll be someone cool. Being Superman is so beat. And just stuff like this where Superman is listening to these different characters and talk about this. But we're really seeing firsthand Superman witnessing an entire, you know, city not turn against him, but really kind of think about what it means to have the American way. This was a great conversation too with Manchester Black. I thought was good as well. Soup says, you're murdering people and calling yourself heroes. This is not the way the job gets done. And he says, funny, wouldn't have pegged you for jealous. And so this whole time, I think they do a really great job of his dialogue, because he's just like, he's so petty and he's so like, oh, funny, wouldn't paint it. Like, he's such a little like, oh, you want to like punch him in the face, right?
I wouldn't say he's petty. He reminds me of that whole like late 80s, early 90s like punk rock movement that you saw in the UK. But where it's very much just so much against the establishment, so much against the grain, that we are the anarchy, and this is kind of the way it needs to be, because being polite isn't working. You've got to like force yourself to be heard, or force things to happen. And that's kind of
is that force is the word.
And that's, Drew is spot on. This is 100% like DC's version of the Authority. But you know, you talked about the dialogue. This entire script from beginning to end is immaculate. The conversations that, you know, all the characters are having, whether it's like you know, Lex as president and kind of seeing what other nations are doing, how are they responding? Well, they're waiting to see how you respond. And you know, Lex gave a very Lex answer that was also a very diplomatic answer in some ways.
Because he was president. People forget he was president at this time.
Yeah. And then even here, like I had actually pulled this page up because I love what Paul Kent says here. Well, just this whole exchange, like, you know, Clark says pretty much, so Smallville's rooting for the elite, huh? And he goes, Paul says, some folks, you know, mostly loud and angry ones, others just scared. They look outside and they see revolving doors on prisons, government corruption, maniacs hiding in the desert, children. You know, it's all these things that as a society, we're supposed to look at these establishments, like prisons are supposed to, you know, help us contain the things that are bad in the world. You know, our government should be, you know, are more righteous and upstanding citizens leading our country. And we often see that's not the case. So, you know, it's like the fragment of what you've been taught to believe in is just crumbling and falling apart. And it makes you think that there is no hope. And you know, that's the juxtaposition here, is you've got that narrative coming in and you've got these people going, yeah. And Superman's like, no, if there's no hope, then what do we have to believe in and stand on? So it's just a fantastic book.
The conversation goes on to say, well, what happens to children these days gets anyone's blood up. Sometimes truth, justice, and the American way just doesn't make them feel better. This is coming from Pa Ken. They want easy answers, quick results. Superman says, so is Black right? The best way to fight demons is to become one because it's fast, easy, and there isn't a moral code to measure up to anyway? And then Pa Ken says, course not, Clark, but you can't just talk to someone like that. You have to teach him there's a better way. Lead by example. Worked for better men than me. And if it doesn't, you can always kick them from here to the high holy, or to the high holy later, right? And then this is where it got me, because I was like, yeah, I guess he's right. You know, Clark is now going to take on the high road. And if something happens, like, Clark will just make mincemeat of him, right? But Pa Kent says, like, Clark, you can beat them if it goes that way. Can't you, Clark? And so now I'm thinking, oh my gosh, maybe he can't. Maybe that's what's troubling him so much, right?
Yeah.
So ultimately we'll kind of go towards the go to the end.
Yeah, because at this time, people are wondering, like, is Superman going to cross that line? Well, is he willing to cross that line like these people have done to take them out? Well, we don't know.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I don't think we've talked about the art yet here as well, but the art just crushes it, bro. The art in this whole book is just so damn good.
Doug Mankey and Brian
Yeah.
Azzarello. Holy crap! You want to talk about a team I never thought it's just you never thought you'd see, and here it is. It's a masterpiece.
No, not Azzarello. Hold on, wait for it.
Bermeo. I'm sorry, Bermeo.
Bermejo, yeah.
Yeah.
Lee Bermejo. Yeah, that's crazy, dude, to have both of these guys on here. So, but ultimately, yeah, the elite take Superman off world to fight him, and so that the whole world, you know, all of the United States, or I guess the whole world, yeah, not just the U.S., but the whole world can see as Manchester Black just demolishes Superman, because they want to show everyone that Supes can be beat and that the American way is no more, and that the real way to do things, the solution to things, is just by killing everyone, right? But sure enough, Superman finds a way to beat all of them without killing any of them. And I don't want to spoil things, because I do highly, highly, highly recommend it for people.
Well, Max, leading up to the end, you're led to believe Superman did kill them. You're led to believe up to the very end, like, oh shit,
Yeah.
he did cross the line. But it's like, oh no. But oh god, I love that page.
Yeah, when he comes back, dude, you're just like, what is happening right now? How does it feel knowing that everything you thought you had has been taken away from you? How does it feel to have your flaws exploited, to be deconstructed? How does it feel to watch dreams die? Because that's exactly what Black did to Superman. He was trying to tell Superman, your dreams are dead. You cannot, this is not the way to do things here anymore. And I do like how much of a sniveling little brat Black becomes once he realizes, like, you can't do this. You're Superman. You don't do this. But then in like the panels just before, he's like, oh yeah, baby, you know, do you think that this is gonna work for your American way, blah blah blah. And now he's just this sniveling little, you know, snot nose cockroach.
You know, this is the Superman movie that we need. You know, there are a lot of people like what stories do you adapt? You know, this is one I think we really need in today's society, like to really show why Superman is who he is and why we need to respect the truth, justice, and the American way. Why it's needed.
Well, and honestly, if you remember back when they first announced that James Gunn was going to take over when he was launching, that was what the talk was, is that this Superman movie was supposed to be Superman with the authority, and that they pretty much were saying like, hey, they're taking that elite storyline, you know, actually putting the authority in, and then you were going to have your authority film that was going to follow up. I don't know if you guys remember that, but that was like the big talk of everything. And then they even announced that, you know, hey, we're going to have the engineer, which we do have the engineer in the film. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, it's such a, just like it's a good story.
Like you said, Josh, the script out the gate, solid. It's tight. It's like to the point. Everyone has their own distinct voice.
Well,
you
also have someone who is clearly intelligent and understands how the world actually works.
Yeah.
You know, they're not here getting their news or opinions or whatever from Twitter or TikTok or Real Housewives or RuPaul's Drag Race. Like, it's someone who's actually educated in how different countries operate and how the world works. And it makes a difference. You get a story that feels competent. So
yeah,
and not just that. Everyone has their own unique voices. Everyone has their own unique perspectives. And whereas now with Marvel or DC, a lot of people would be talking the same way. You couldn't differentiate between the people. But here, you have different philosophies, different ways of life, and I love that. And that's why Joe Kelly is a master storyteller here. Some of the stuff he's done lately, not so much, but here it is masterclass.
Rye Guy KC says Mankey is highly underrated. Weird seeing Bermejo inking his work here. I think they do wonderfully together, but it is odd to see because I think of Lee Bermejo as like the cover artist, right?
So he's not inking. They're both alternating pencils, and they do it quite well. Yeah,
that's
it's
cool.
hard. It's kind of hard to tell who's doing what when.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there are certain pages where I can see more Mankey than Bermejo, and there are other
same.
pages where I
It's
can
his
see-
eyes.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
The eyes. That's wild, dude. How cool. Mankey and Kelly were doing some Batman stuff, right? They did some cool Batman stuff that I remember reading that I loved. So this was excellent as well. Ezekiel says this would be a great movie, and Dominic says there's actually an animated movie adapting the story. Is that true? Have you guys heard about this?
There is. It was okay. It wasn't a true 1-for-1 adaptation of this. It was.
Yeah, that's sad. That sucks. Because normally Warner Brothers, if they do anything well, it is their animated stuff. They do their animated stuff wonderfully.
True. I mean, granted, well, not all of them were winners. I mean, I remember their first Death of Superman animated adaptation. That wasn't good. I remember, and this one came out not too long after that. This one, it was okay. It wasn't great, but there are others. Yeah, they did that. There were bangers. Like Batman Year One is amazing, and Dark Knight Returns amazing. So was
Under the Red Hood.
Under the Red Hood. The New Frontier.
I like their Superman Batman Public Enemies. I thought that was good too.
That was good too. Yeah.
Before we move on to our Captain America picks, Kyle, and like I said, I know this was like the first thing you mentioned was like 775. Anything else you wanted to talk about before we move on, man? Because I know that this was a top pick for you.
No, I mean we pretty much need to beat a dead horse at this point. So.
Fine. Okay.
I'll add that I love how like blatantly obvious they lifted Sid Vicious for Manchester Black. That's all. As a character
with the like blue hair, blue spiky hair, and
I mean even just his
British
attitude
t-shirt.
and his outlook and yeah.
Sid Vicious. All right. Should we do, you know what? Let's just do Cap 1 real quick. So I will say I went into this thinking like, oh boy, here we go. It's going to be super cheesy and corny and like, gee willikers, Captain America, what are we going to do now? Like, but it was like fairly, yes, it did have, there is a part in here where Bucky is like, you know, says sucker and succotash or something like that.
Well, Max, the important thing to remember here, when this came out, this issue, America was not involved in World War II yet. We were still an isolationist nation. And they got a lot of hate mail from, you know, whether it was pro-Nazi, pro-America, isolationists. This cover pissed off a lot of people.
Yeah. Now, speaking of the cover, I see weirdo Reddit, you know, cockroaches saying that like, whenever people say comics aren't political, I show them Captain America comics #1. And it's like, do we think that this is inherently a political statement, or is this a cover for like, because some people would say, oh, this is propaganda, you know? I don't know if I would say that this is inherently political, but I do think it is trying to promote a stance saying like, hey, we are America first and we want to win this war. And like, if that's the case, then we're going to showcase our quote unquote, if we want to call it that, propaganda, which is America winning the war.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah. And I think according to the creatives who were there at the time, they said they saw Hitler and they saw what he was doing in Europe and they saw how much of a danger he was. And this was a response to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it has less to do with like oh, we should get involved with the war. I don't think that was the statement being made, and more so that, like, we don't agree with what Hitler is doing. And those can be two very different things, because the American census at the time was like, no, don't get involved.
Mm.
So our leadership wanted to get involved, but citizens did not want to get involved.
Yeah. It feels like we're going through something similar to that, as well here. So all that being said, this is a book that is unlike kind of anything other because it was written in 1941, and it's not like your typical comic book where it has like just one long story. It's got multiple short stories throughout, and then it even has like a little novelization in the middle. But I can see how young kids at this time were reading this and going like, damn, I want to sign up. I want to go fight for my country. It makes total sense. So the other cool thing that I thought was interesting is that Stan Lee is not a creator of Captain America. Joe Simon and Jack Kirby are the creators, sole creators of Captain America. So, sorry, you guys can probably hear the gunshots, the gang shots from my window. But yeah, this first story is basically Captain America's origin, how he gets his powers and how they do, the super soldier serum. And then here's where the Sentinels of Liberty official badge and membership card comes in, where you can send in 10 cents, and get your card, which I thought is hilarious. I wonder if there's anyone who has one of these. That'd be freaking rad, dude. I'd pay for that. Yeah, maybe.
Because I know Steve Jeppy, he collected a lot of that old shit. Like he's got a lot of the old decoder rings.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I guarantee you he probably has this in his collection.
Dude, that would be freaking sweet to have something like this. That'd be really fun. The second story is basically these two performers are pretending to be
Sando and Omar. Yeah.
Yeah. Like visionaries, like they can see the future. And every time they predict the future, that thing happens. And so Cap feels that there is something fishy going on. So he ends up finding out their ploy and that they are in fact spies for the Führer. And he captures them and knocks him out. Where's that one thing with Bucky? Because Bucky, as you see, is... Oh, yeah, here we go. Gosh, gee whiz, golly, I never thought... So you do get some of that stuff where it's like, okay, it's 1941.
And not just that, Max. There's some... I forget which issue it's in. I'm not sure if it's this one or a future issue, but there's something happens to where like the Pacific Fleet is attacked, and it's like months before Pearl Harbor happens. Like they had predicted it. Yeah.
That's really interesting, man. And then here's like the kind of novelization, Captain America and the Soldier's Soup. And this was just a little bit of like a little novel right in the middle of the book. You have this creepy vampiric thing that plays chess and tries to take out some of America's, leaders. And this I thought was pretty wild, is like they had for a kid's magazine, they had this, American general, I think he was, or admiral, shot in the head and was like bleeding out and was put on the stage for people to see. And no one realized that he was going to be there. And then they end up seeing this thing. But for kids, I was like, I did not think that they would publish that for a kid's magazine, but there you go. There you have it.
I mean,
well, it's still when the EC Comics was still out. You had the Tales from the Crypt, Vault of Horror. There isn't a comics code, so they're allowed to do that stuff.
Yeah, they were a little bit. Times were a little different when we first started comics. Because even your early issues of Batman, you have him like cutting a guy off from like a helicopter, so he falls to his death. Like he
Oh
shoots a
my
guy.
God.
Like you got some stuff. They're not afraid to go there.
That's hilarious. And then finally we get, I think this is the last story in the book with Red Skull. Man, yeah, that uniform with just the swastika just right on the chest there. It's like, boom. Can't ignore it. But yeah, how they draw him is super creepy. But surprisingly, like I said, I was pretty damn impressed with the writing. It is nothing that is going to be like Eisner Award winning or blah blah blah, but everything is written very competently. The dialogue is very intelligent, well spoken. Everyone is articulate. The story is paced well. It all makes sense. Like it's constructed in a way that works well. So yeah, man, because I always think of these like goofy Golden Age books as like just nothing more than goofy stories that don't really amount up to anything. But I was pleasantly surprised, going back and rereading this. This was really
Max,
fun.
Some are like that. Some are bad like that. This isn't
True.
one of them.
Yeah. And it makes sense why it's held, why it stood the test of time. So let's now go to Cap 250. So this is the Stern Byrne run from 1980. This ran for only 9 issues. But there are fans of John Byrne who say that more than his X-Men stuff, more than his Fantastic Four, that they love his Cap run more than anything else he's ever done. That is a bold statement.
I mean, these two were a dream team, and it didn't last long. It didn't last long after this because Byrne went on to do Fantastic Four after this, I believe. And I forget Roger Stern. I think he went over to DC after this, maybe. But they were a dream team, and it's a shame.
I think what ended up happening, and this is where Shooter may have been involved, where Roger and John didn't agree with Shooter, Jim Shooter, was that at their final issue, or leading up to their final issue, Roger and John had a 3-issue arc planned out. So it was going to be a trilogy type of deal where they had the Red Skull coming back as a villain for the arc, and Jim Shooter said like, actually for the Cap book, we're going to go with one and done stories. So you can have Red Skull, but we're only going to do them in like 1 issue, or you're going to have to wrap everything up in that 1 issue. And Roger Stern said that he didn't want to inhibit his creative integrity. So he said this has to be done in 3 issues. I can't do it in 1. And he said, sorry, it's either 1 or none. And so he said, all right, then I'm not going to do it. So then they left the book.
Oh, you know what Roger went on to? I think he went on to the Avengers after this. I think that's what it was. Because I know he
did,
nice.
Okay.
Yeah, because I know he had a solid run. He did a great storyline where the Avengers got their asses kicked by the Masters of Evil.
Nice.
Yeah, Under Siege. Great storyline.
Okay. So the plot line here for Cap 250, just to kind of summarize it before we go into details. Cap takes out these terrorists who have taken over this political party. And I forget the actual name of the political party, but it's something like you have Republicans, you have Democrats, but then you have this third party that isn't either of them. The NPP.
The New Populist Party. Come on, Max.
Of course. Oh, gosh, how could I forget? The New Populist Party. And so Cap fights off these terrorists and like, take that, heathens, dispatches of them easily. And then the leader of the New Populist Party is like, Cap, thank you so much for saving us. How would you feel if you became our spokesperson? Let me introduce you to the team, right? Let me, I'll talk to you about this. And, he starts talking to the team and everything. And so he goes, why don't you be our presidential nominee? Because the Republicans have theirs and the Democrats have theirs. And we, the New Populist Party, want you to be our nominee. And Cap's like, I don't know. I'll think about it, right? And so this like kind of sleazy politician, he goes, yeah, well, when Cap leaves the room, he calls all of his publicists and all of the news articles, and he goes, we're running with the story, and Captain America is our nominee for the NPP. And so Cap now has to deal with everyone being like, hey, you're running for president. And he doesn't even know that. So the rest of the book is basically Steve Rogers having to contemplate, should I run for president? What would that mean for the American people? What would that mean for me as Captain America? And all along the way, you've got like the mutants saying, we would be Team Cap all the way. We want you to be president because you're for mutant rights. But then you've got like the Avengers, like Iron Man, who's like, you're an idiot if you run. You would never be a good president. You stupid, dumb idiot. You're not. Come on, Cap. You of all people should know better than to get mixed up in politics, right? So Iron Man and a couple of the Avengers are like, no way, leave this field. So he's kind of juxtaposed on all sides with, you've got Nick Fury, Daredevil, Spidey, Doc Strange, like so many people are weighing in. And the thing that I thought was really nice is that Roger Stern is not giving us any type of political point of view to say, this is what you should believe as a Republican, or this is what you should believe as a Democrat. He offers all of these points of view openly. So
once again, it shows how, like just like with Joe Kelly, with Roger Stern, how much of a master storyteller he is. He's able to navigate that line, and most cannot do that line tactfully.
No.
What? You mean to tell me you're providing a balanced political commentary? What?
Yeah,
wow.
He navigates, a narrow rope here, and he does it masterfully.
You know what, Drew? You say navigates a narrow rope. I say fence sitter.
Oh no! Wait, he's Perch? Wait a second.
Yeah. Oh yeah, apparently.
So then we get to the speech, and I'll go ahead and read the speech because I think it's just brilliant. But before we get to the speech, anything that I missed or anything you guys wanted to talk about the issue?
I will say there was a what if that was written after this.
Yes.
Where what if Captain America did become president?
That's
so,
right.
It kind of picked up after this.
That may be on my list for next year for comics that we can cover for next year's 4th of July.
Fun.
2026, yeah. So this politician for the MPP says, ladies and gentlemen, honored delegates, my fellow Americans, this is the proudest moment of my life. Moment of our nation. Is my great privilege to introduce to you, blah, 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 Captain America. Woo! So Cap gets up there and he says, friends, please, may I have your attention. What I have to say will not take long, but I hope it will be meaningful. As you're all well aware, there's been a lot of talk these past few days, talk triggered by certain stories appearing in the press. I've given much thought to those stories and to the public discussion they inspired. I've had to face the question of whether or not I should be a candidate for the president of the United States. And then this guy in the crowd goes, you're the man, Cap. Yeah. As I was saying, I gave this much thought and I have come to my decision. The presidency is one of the most important jobs in the world. The holder of that office must represent the best interests of an entire nation. He must be ready to negotiate to compromise 24 hours a day to preserve the republic at all costs. I understand this, I appreciate this, and I realize the need to work within such a framework. By the same token, I've worked and fought all my life for the growth and advancement of the American dream, and I believe that my duty to the dream would severely limit any abilities I may have to preserve that reality. We must all live in the real world, and sometimes that world can be pretty grim, but it is the dream, the hope, that makes the reality worth living. In the early 1940s, I made a personal pledge to uphold the dream, and as long as the dream remains, even partially unfulfilled, I cannot abandon it. And so I hope you can understand that in all fairness, I cannot be your candidate. You need but to look within yourselves to find the people you need to keep this nation strong and, God willing, to help the dream come true. And for a lot of people in the audience, like, they're pissed. Like, they are so mad that Cap is not going to be their president. But that's the point. I mean, I think that's the reason why this comic is so great and so well done, is because Cap shouldn't involve himself with politics. And for him to uphold the dream, he would be ruining that. So, and I like that he says, you know, to look within yourselves, find the people you need to make this nation strong, and, God willing, to help them have the dream come true. So,
yeah, I like that there. Just for the sake of, you know, I think sometimes the idea of soft power, like leading by example and letting your actions dictate what you deem is right or wrong, because even though this doesn't fully go into the context of it, of, you know, if Cap were to become president, you're then going to be in situations where you're not actually acting on your morals, but, you know, what is needed for the nation, which kind of comes up as a theme in another one of the books we cover. But
is that, which book was that? Which one was that?
The Spectre, the villain, what was it? National interest. Yeah.
That's right.
I'm serving the national interest.
Do you want to talk about that one next?
Yeah, we can. I mean, did you not have more Cap, or?
There were plenty of other Cap books. Here, I'll share them real quick, just to kind of, just for the sake of time, and you know, I don't expect us to go through every single one of these, because I know we're already at 3 hours. But so here's one of the issues we were going to cover tonight as well. 383. This was fun and goofy, but still had some like heart to it. And the artwork, Ron Lim is just like firing on all cylinders, and his Cap and Silver Surfer stuff are just brilliant. But yeah, it's like you meet Paul Bunyan and John Henry and Johnny Appleseed or whatever his name is. Like all these.
Little fun fact: he was one of the L boys that almost got poached to go to Image, but he didn't have anything. He stayed at Marvel.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
The other one we were going to do was Cap 323, and this was interesting because this takes place on the 4th of July. So Super Patriot is here. This 4th of July, the scaffolding around her will be down, and in the biggest celebration since the bicentennial, the lady with the torch will be rededicated, excuse me. And this has got some, it's not my favorite art, but I thought the story was good. I thought it was interesting with how Cap plays to the villain. But this cover is just beautiful, classic. So those are the other two Cap books that we were going to cover, but we also thought about talking about the Spectre, because from issue 37 and then 14 issues after that are part of a storyline titled The Haunting of America. And it's like part 1 through part like 14 or something. And so this is just the first issue of that arc. But yeah, Josh, what did you think of this one? How it kind of opens in 1776, and you get these guys who kind of conjure an alchemist to create a nation.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of establishing a lore and mythology, you know, kind of here. But they ended up doing a lot of really fun things to kind of play with history, and so yeah, they conjured this power. This I guess you can call it a power, an amulet type thing that has power. And that ends up leading to characters having power. So we've got, Uncle Sam, and we learned that there's been multiple Uncle Sams, I guess, throughout that have kind of been imbued with this power.
Oh, your mic went out. I'm sorry.
It honestly, reading this reminds me of what's going on currently with the movie Redcoat. With the comic book series Redcoat. Just that having that fun with American history.
Yeah. But yeah, this device, this item that has power ends up getting broken up and broken up and broken up. And it's kind of like symbolizing the division of America to a degree. And then the powers are imbued serve different purposes. And this kind of villainous presence that we end up meeting here is fighting for national interests. It's this guy right here, Agent Jefferson. It's a very, I don't want to say it's a subtle commentary, but they don't blatantly put it in your face and be like, we're talking about, how our national interests can sometimes be void and pointless. But it's laid out here in the actual narrative of the story. I thought it was a lot of fun, and then when you take the religious context of the Spectre and what he represents into this conversation, I think it makes it even more interesting. So,
and dude, this art, I'm obsessed with this whole run of Mandrake's art, or no, Mandrake, right?
Yeah, it's Tom Mandrake. Yeah.
Yeah, his stuff looks so rad.
Omnibus coming out later this year, baby.
Yeah, baby.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, there's a portion of this where Spectre actually drops his kind of godlike, I think, because he's fighting the idea of Uncle Sam in the brain of this individual.
Yeah.
I think not. I'm an aspect of God, and I do not know this being. So I do like the connotation of Spectre always kind of invoking his role as God's right hand, and always fighting as the vengeance of God's wrath. And this like creepy Uncle Sam character who is, trying to possess him. A lot of fun stuff here. I didn't get to read. I got to read this issue and then the next one, but there's a lot of really cool stuff that I think if I were to read the entire 14 issue arc would really, really lend itself to some great moments. But reading these two issues just gives you a bit of a taste of it. So
letters pages, woo!
I love reading those, dude.
Yeah,
they're so rad to go back and like read what people are saying because they published like hate mail too.
Yeah,
and a lot of those books, like
some of my favorite letters like that are in during Batman Year One when you have the letters in there in the back. They're published in the Absolute Edition. You fans say like, "Oh, I'm not a fan of this. I don't like where this is going."
Yeah.
But you have Alex Toth, a fan letter from Alex Toth, in there saying how much he enjoyed the run of Batman Year One, which is interesting.
Nice. That's cool. Jack says Paul Neary, R.I.P., is an inker best known for pairing with Alan Davis and Brian Hitch. Nice. Okay. Thank you for that, Jack. Ezekiel says, I was also thinking Redcoat, and I'll need to find the Spectre run. Sounds fun. Yeah, dude, Ezekiel, Josh would be able to talk your ear off about this. He had actually introduced me to it. And so I started reading the initial, the first issues of this initial run. And dude, it is so good. Ezekiel, if you want, I've actually got a video on my channel that's the first issue, like narration, as well as like my review, and it's so rad. It's such a great first storyline. So.
Yeah. John Ostrander, he is a brilliant writer. He's done some great stuff. It's doing Grimjack, Suicide Squad, the Spectre. Yeah. But honestly, in my opinion, I've read all that stuff. Nothing trumps the Spectre. His run on this is fucking brilliant.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah. And it really puts into context, like, just how dark he really can be when he invokes that essence of like this godlike power imbued within him.
He's Freddy Krueger. Yeah. He is God's Freddy Krueger. It is awesome.
Yeah. I mean, he is literally God's vengeance. So, it's not going to be nice. It's going to be rough.
It's terrifying. Yeah. It's so rad. And, Ezekiel, to your point, when Hal is, when you read the Green Lantern run with Jeff Johns and Ethan Van Sciver, I think it's Rebirth, and then which goes into then Green Lantern Sinister War and
Sinestro Corps War.
Or Sinestro Corps War, thank you. And all these, incredible that whole arc of what Jeff Johns and EVS were able to do. When Hal is imbued with, or almost like infested with, both Spectre and Parallax, and these two things like ripping him apart. It's incredible when you've read the Spectre and then read Green Lantern, so you really understand the true weight of what it would be like to have the Spectre inside of you. Pretty terrifying stuff, man.
I'm getting my Absolute Edition now. I'm going to find that. I'm going to see if we can pull that page up, see what it looks like.
And that stuff gives me chills whenever I read Hal Jordan and he's dealing with these two entities pulling him, so freaking good.
Oh, here we go. Here's a page of it. Yeah, here's some. I'll turn my camera on. See it. People know what we're talking about.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, there we go.
Good stuff. Yeah.
Then that leads to this money shot.
Oh yeah, it's so sick. Looking good.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right. So the last thing that I'll cover, and then we'll probably call it a night. So I had us look at Justice League of America from the 70s, I want to say. Issue 107 and 108. 107 is the very first appearance. Well, I guess I shouldn't say very first appearance. But it is the first appearance of the team, the Freedom Fighters. Dun, 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 dun. And everyone's like, who? that sounds lame. It's like, who are these jabronis? But this is Kyle's favorite team. And so I was like, you know what? We'll put this on the list if you really want us to talk about it. And sure enough, all of these characters are... I'm kidding. I don't even know if Kyle knows who the Freedom Fighters are.
No one knows.
I was about to say, I didn't even know who they were until Wes told me like 2 weeks ago. These are all Golden Age characters that ended up showing up in DC one way or the other, like here or there. And then finally, I think it was, who is writing this? Len Wein, Dick Dillon, and Dick Giordano put these characters together and made them the Freedom Fighters. So this is a team that is in a alternate universe, Earth X. And funny enough, the story behind Earth X is that I forget who it was. Maybe it was Giordano. But whoever was doing the Earth X, they wanted Earth X to be Earth swastika. Because on Earth X, the Nazi regime had actually taken over the United States. And so the Freedom Fighters are fighting within the heart of the U.S., fighting against the Nazi regime. And so it's like an alternate universe of what if we lost World War II? And so that's the whole concept behind the Freedom Fighters. And so what they wanted to do with Earth X was initially it was going to be called Earth and then have the swastika logo. And the editor at the time, I think it was Julius Schwartz, was like, no. We can't have a freaking swastika on our comic book, okay? And he's like, why not? It works out perfectly. So then he erased all the little edges on the swastika and he goes, there you go. Look, it's an X. You can have the Earth X. And that's the story of how they ended up getting the alternate universe there. But yeah, this is kind of a fun story of how the JLA found themselves in Earth X and how they were introduced to the Freedom Fighters. We get all of their superpowers, but what's really astonishing and something that kind of reinvigorated the team was in 2019, our main man, Robert Venditti, introduced during the DC Universe like Rebirth era, a new 12-issue maxi series with Robert Venditti writing and Eddie Barrows illustrating of the new Freedom Fighters that would take over the mantle. And these first two issues are pretty dang wild, man. They're dark. They are super grounded, extremely well written. Robert Venditti just crushes these first issues. In my opinion, I thought this was a really good first start. I haven't read the entire 12-issue maxi series, but if you wanted to understand the Freedom Fighters, I think this would be a cool introduction to them. And I think Venditti does a really great job of keeping their core and their essence. But
yeah, and don't forget about Eddie Barrows. Eddie Barrows does a masterful job in these pages.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And
ooh, God, that's creepy shit.
It is creepy. I don't want to spoil the first issue because what happens at the end of this issue, I did not see coming. And so when that actually happens to these characters, like I was shocked because it's like gruesome. It is brutal. And you will never see it coming. So I will leave that up to your imaginations. But yeah, thanks to Wes from Thinking Critical. Shout out to him. He had recommended this series to me, and I read the first two issues, and I thought it was pretty good. But anything you guys wanted to say about Freedom Fighters at all?
This particular series is one that I haven't read yet, so I gotta go check it out.
Okay. I would.
I haven't read it either.
Okay.
I was reading it when it came out. I liked Venditti's stuff in this, but I loved Eddie Barrows' art in this. Eddie Barrows, Josh and I have talked about him. He is an artist that I don't really feel like he's getting the notoriety and credit he deserves, because he is a fucking master at his craft, and he's always posting the pencils for his pages. He's a penciling genius, and he needs to be getting more credit, and he does it masterfully here.
Yeah, you can tell. None of this stuff looks AI generated. None of this looks like it's just slopped on haphazardly on like a digital pad or anything. Like, this looks really raw. I appreciate that. So,
notice they removed the Ray from this version.
I wonder why.
I wonder why.
Yeah, because they were too busy making him gay. No, for real, they really were.
Steve Orlando. Yeah, he made it. Yeah, in the Justice League of America run.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Josh, when they introduced the new Freedom Fighters, it's all women and black people. So that's no like Doll Man is Doll Woman, and
But used to be a man, right? Was biologically a man and became a woman. Is that what you're telling me?
I think that's what they're trying to.
Yeah,
infer,
the
yes.
constant shrinking changed her sex organs.
Ah, I see. That'll do it to you. So Ezekiel says, I found a couple Spectre comics when Hal was Spectre 2. Oh, read that. And I think I read that one. So all righty then. Well, so for next year, or just for, for the sake of showcasing, like, hey, here's some other books. If you guys didn't get to read those, for the chat, if you guys wanted some other recommendations from us for 4th of July books, Josh and myself and a couple other guys actually covered the Frank Miller Daredevil run. And Josh, do you remember which issue this was again? Or
232.
Well, I mean, like what its like relevance for the because what's his name?
Nuke.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
he
Nuke
gets
comes
recruited
in
by Kingpin.
Yeah, and it's going like ape shit. And then you've got Captain America that comes into play. Well, you got the whole Avengers team, and Iron Man's a bit of a douchebag, but Cap is the one that kind of is there for Matt.
Yeah,
but yeah,
for God and country. This is such a sick cover, man.
It is a sick cover.
This is so rad. But yeah, Nuke is a freaking nutso.
Give me a red
maniac.
one. Give me a red one.
He seriously is a freaking psychopath.
Oh, speaking of me making the gun noises, have you seen the videos of guys going up to like their girlfriends and stuff and be like, "Hey, what does a machine gun sound like?" Have you seen
like,
those videos?
Pew pew pew.
They literally like pew 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 pew, and they're like, "What the?" And then they'll go up to their guy friends and they're like, "Hey, what does a machine gun sound like?" They're like, brr, 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 brr. And they're like, girls like, "That's not what it sounds like."
Yeah, any guy knows if you go up to him and goes like, "What?" You say, "What's a machine gun?" You're like, grrr, you got to do the actual noise, and girls will say like,
I'm gonna find that. I'm gonna find it and send it to you. It's
bang,
great.
Pow.
Pew, pew, pew. It's like finger guns. Pew pew pew.
Yeah. Nope. Sorry. So yeah, Daredevil 232. I mean, read the whole arc there, but that's just one instance.
Yeah.
Another one. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna, because Jack Frost put Nuke is not really a pro-America character. No, Nuke is not. But what Matt and Cap do at the end of that story, I think, is pro-America. Because they're actively calling out what Nuke does as being bad. And Matt's he's a little unhinged in this because he's trying so hard to get his life back.
That's true.
That he's trying to get Nuke to instead of getting him to a hospital, he's trying to get him to the reporters. But yeah,
because Kingpin isn't helping either. Like, he's telling Nuke, he's like, Captain America did this to your boys, or like, Daredevil did this to your boys. Like, this is what they did. And he's like, where is he? So yeah, he just sicks him on him, and great book. But then you've got so I've full disclosure, I've not actually read this one yet, but this looked awesome. It's 81 pages, so it is a long read, but this looks so sick. I've never seen this before. Captain America's Bicentennial Battles. And it sounds like it's like a large collection of different stories. But this is all like Jack Kirby art, it looks like. Well, no, actually. Conceived and drawn by, yeah. So then inked by Herb Trimpe, John Romita, and Barry Windsor Smith. Damn. Well, there you go. So I really, really, really want to read this, but this looks incredible, bro. So I'm going to check that out. This one I thought was kind of cool. Strange Tales, Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., and Doctor Strange. Really anything with Nick Fury is going to be patriotic, and
especially by Jim Steranko. The Jim Steranko Nick Fury Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff
yeah,
is amazing.
Beautiful, beautiful stuff. And then I haven't read this one, but this looked awesome as well. What if Captain America had led an army of super soldiers into World War II? Hell yes. Give me all of this. So this is What If issue number 28. But this looks super rad. Because I'd imagine they'd wipe the floor with everyone. And then finally, as we alluded to earlier, what if Captain America had been elected president? I don't know. I disagree, but oh yes, Josh did. Oh, were you swearing in, or did you have your hand up?
Yeah, no, I was swearing in. I was, hand on the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, just some books that we might be able to get into next year, or just some books that, if you, the viewer, wanted to check out, you could do so as well. All right. Well, anything else you guys wanted to cover before we head out for the evening?
I'm good.
I'm good.
Sweet. Well, I do apologize if you guys have been hearing the pop shots coming from my window this evening, but hopefully it wasn't too annoying.
Pew, 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 pew.
Bang, 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 pop, 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 pop.
Bing, bang, bong.
Get it right. But yeah, I hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful Independence Day and a happy 4th. And for those of you viewing this live, thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. Like I said, y'all could be watching the fireworks, sipping back a cold one, and whatever it is that you're doing, we appreciate you guys being here. And for everyone watching on the replay, let us know what you thought about the comics we covered tonight. And if you read any comics for the 4th of July or had any fun, movies that you rewatched or anything like that. So thank you for all the super chats and all the memberships tonight. Salty Traveling Sea and Eric O'Sullivan. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. Love y'all. Thanks to all the members in the chat and everyone for hanging out this evening. Sunday afternoon, Drew, can you plug what you guys are going to do on Wes's channel real quick?
Yeah. So, Sunday. So I guess it depends on your time in the U.S. or in the world.
Yeah.
But in Indiana, Sunday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be beginning our closeout stream for Unholy Nightmare 2 on the Thinking Critical channel, doing it live. Aaron Sparrow, myself, maybe some people on this stream right now will be joining us as we do the closeout stream for a couple hours. So the campaign ends at, I think, 8:05 Eastern Standard Time. So we're gonna be live for a couple hours on Wes's channel, just hanging out, chatting, talking about the comic, and what we got planned coming up. It should be a fun time.
Cool, man. Can't wait. Yeah. I think most of our fans know of Wes or already subscribe to Thinking Critical. So you guys will see that that live stream pop up Sunday. So make sure to go check out that closeout stream so that we can get this book past the finish line, one last final push, and get some great backers in there.
And if you're watching Thinking Critical tomorrow, there may be a certain comic book sponsoring it as well, sponsoring the live stream. So, yeah.
Very nice. Wes did a great job of that ad. I really like it.
I have been exploiting the hell out of that ad. I've been showing it everywhere on Facebook.
As you should.
I actually had someone I'd been relatively kind of friendly with on Facebook. He sent me a nasty message. Dude, I'm tired of you spamming this out. What the fuck is wrong with you? All this. I'm like, wow, guy. You have a good one. I'll talk to you later.
That's harsh.
Yes.
Man, I never go on Facebook, so maybe that's probably a good thing. I forgot I even had a Facebook profile at one point. I was like, oh yeah, I guess I have one of these. But I will see. Yeah, we'll see you guys Saturday morning on Wes's channel. Everyone should go hop over there and say hi to everyone and hang out in the chat. And then once again on Wes's channel on Sunday evening / afternoon to go hang out with Drew and the gang for a great closeout stream. So thank you all so much for watching. And before I forget, if you guys have any other recommendations or any other 4th of July comics that you would pick that we maybe didn't cover, let us know, because we'd love to cover them or read them or highlight them. Because like that Action Comics book, I would have never thought of that to add that to our list tonight. So that was a really cool one. But all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next week. So take care, everyone.
There was only one night game a year. On the 4th of July, the whole sky would brighten up with fireworks, giving us just enough light for a game. We played our best then, because I guess we all felt like the big leaguers under the lights of some great stadium. Benny felt like that all the time. We all knew he was going to go on to bigger and better games, because every time we stopped to watch the sky on those nights, like regular kids, he was there to call us back. You see, for us, baseball was a game. But for Benjamin Franklin Rodriguez, baseball was life.
So you're gonna tell me that you don't have no black cats, no Roman candles, or screaming mimes?
No.
Oh, come on, man. You don't got no lady fingers, buzz buttles, snicker bombs, church burners, finger blasters, gut busters, zippity doo-dahs, or crap flappers?
No, I don't.
You're gonna stand there owning a fireworks stand and tell me you don't have no whistling bungholes, no spleen splitters, whisker biscuits, honky lighters, hoosker do's, hoosker don'ts, cherry bombs, nipsy daisers, with or without the scooter stick, or one single whistling kitty chaser?
No.
You want to go with the Patriot? Back off! Get in your van and go, okay? Because I'll throw down, get in your little van, and drive out of my face, okay? Before I go America all over your ass!
Okay, I'm gonna rise up, I'm gonna kick a little ass, gonna kick some ass in the USA, gonna climb a mountain, gonna soar a flag, gonna fly on an eagle, I'm gonna kick some butt, I'm gonna drive a big truck, I'm gonna rule this world, I'm gonna kick some ass, I'm gonna rise up, I'm gonna kick a little ass, rock, flag, and eagle!
They refuse to give me their names, but their ranks are 9 lieutenants, 5 captains, 3 majors, and one very fat colonel who called me a cheeky fellow.
You know, this is not the conduct of a gentleman.
If the conduct of your officers is the measure of a gentleman, I'll take that as a compliment. Get my men.
Here's to the Army and Navy and the battles they have won. Here's to America's colors, the colors that never run.
May the wings of liberty never lose a feather.
And now, race fans, for the most famous words in motorsports, the star of Universal Pictures movie, I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry, Kevin James.
I just got 3 things to say. God bless our troops, God bless America, and gentlemen, start your